Good evening, my name is Richard. This is Over and Over and Over Again. This is Matchday Live. It is Arsenal versus Southampton from the Emirates. What a big game this is. All the action is coming up the other side of this. Real Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seals it. So this is it then. This is the big game of the weekend, and it's happening early, the Friday night game. I'm not quite sure how this came about, how they started deciding that playing Premier League games on a Friday night was a good idea. It clearly isn't. But anyway, at least it leaves the weekend free to relax and do other stuff rather than worrying about how Arsenal might be getting on. We've got a few comments in already. We've got Steve all the way from Australia saying, "Go Gunners indeed. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're well. 4-1 Arsenal must be a few players out, but must make a statement." Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a comfortable Arsenal win. Nathan's in the chat. As we're doing, mate. Hope you're well. He says, "Hi, Rich. Hope you're well. I can't see anything other than a comfortable win tonight, to be honest." Yeah, that's what we all think, but football doesn't always work like that, does it? Football shocks happen all the time. Steve says, "Hope so." And also, hi, Rich and Gunners fans indeed. Right. What we need to look at first of all then is the team news. So this is how the teams line up. Well, actually, I'll just take that comment off. I do apologise. Right, so, hang on. I said I'm going to take that comment off so that we can see the team news. Right, here we go. So this is the team news, and this is how the teams line up then for Arsenal tonight. In goal, then, as expected, Aaron Ramsdale. Back four, Ben White, Rob Holding, Gabriel, and Zinchenko's back. Arteta was saying he might not be fit, but he is. He's in the starting lineup. You got to feel a bit sorry for Kieran Tierney. He gets one game and he's out again. But there you go. That's life under Mikel Arteta's reign. In midfield, then Thomas Partey, Martin Odegaard, the captain, and a surprise. Granit Xhaka's out. He's got illness, and it isn't Jorginho, the natural replacement to come in. No, it's Fabio Vieira. Weak Fabio Vieira's coming instead. So we'll see how that works out. And in the front three, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and Gabriel Martinelli. So again, no Leandro Trossard in the starting lineup. I'm not sure what he's got to do to get back in this team, but there you go. On the bench, then Matt Turner, Kieran Tierney, Jacob Kiwior, Raul Walters, Jorginho, Reece Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe, another player who can't get a game, Leandro Trossard, and Eddie Nketiah. So for Southampton, and this is how they line up. Massive game for them as well, of course, as they fight against relegation. They're 4 points away from safety. In goal, then Gavin Bazumu. They're back for Carl Walker-Peters, former Tottenham player, of course, Jan Bednarak, who scored against us previously. It's Armel Bella Kochap, not Ketchup, and Roman Perro comes in, of course, for Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who can't play because he's on loan from Arsenal, of course. In midfield, then the Argentinian Carlos Alcaraz. It is James Ward-Prowse, the captain, who scores a few free kicks, and Romeo Lavia. And then their front three is Mohamed El-Anusi, Adam Armstrong, and of course someone we know pretty well, don't we? Theo Walcott back at the Emirates, of course. Good to see him again, playing regular now in this Southampton side. On the bench then for Southampton, it's Alex McCarthy, the goalkeeper. Lyancho, of course, had a rather interesting game, didn't he, down at the St Mary's early this season against us. It's Daje Kaltakar, Ibrahim Diallo, Marlev Orsic, Stuart Armstrong, Joe Ariba, Kamaluddin Solomanu, and Paul Okochu. So that is the lineups then for this big game tonight. Let me know your score predictions. We've got Steve's already gone for quite a big 4-1 victory for Arsenal. I'm just going to sort my chair out. Let's see what else we've got here. Terry's in the chat as always. He says, "Ian, Richard, Steve, Nathan, come on, you Gunners. 5 or 6-1 tonight. Looking forward to this one. Just don't we shut." Yeah, exactly. It's our game here tonight to lose, isn't it? Steve says Xhaka's got flu. Yeah, he's not been well today, Xhaka, so he's out, which is a big miss. Terry says, "In my opinion, big mistake leaving Katie and Trossard out." I agree. And Steve says, "Why not start Trossard instead of Vieira?" Yeah, I mean, you could do. I mean, I personally think that because, I mean, yes, I know what people will say at Southampton at home. Why would you need to play necessarily two more defensive midfielders in Partey and Jorginho? But Xhaka would have played. And Xhaka, you want someone who's going to take that Xhaka role. And Jorginho is the most natural player that we've got in the squad to take on that role, isn't he? And he's not in the team, so that's a little bit strange. Vieira, big opportunity for Vieira though. He's flattered to deceive, hasn't he, much of this season? You can see he's a talented player, but he's struggled, hasn't he, with the physicality of the Premier League. He really has struggled so far. But a big opportunity for him in the starting lineup today. I wonder what his role is going to be. Maybe Martin Ødegaard might drop a little bit deeper, and Fabio Vieira will maybe push on into that more advanced role that Martin Ødegaard plays. Or knowing Arteta, he doesn't like to make changes too much, so he may well keep that Martin Ødegaard in his normal position, and Fabio Vieira maybe taking that taking the Xhaka role, because left-footed player. Maybe that's what he's thinking. But anyway, I'm not too sure about that. And yeah, Trossard, to me, not quite sure what he's done wrong. He's just not getting a game, is he? He's just not getting a start since Gabriel Jesus came back. And yeah, Gabriel Jesus is scoring goals. Difficult to leave him out. I kind of agree with that. But Saka maybe could have done with a rest tonight. Martinelli could have maybe done with a rest as well. So there's options. We've got options, and I don't know. Arteta doesn't seem to trust his squad enough for me. I think that's something that is a bit of a worry for me. It's been a worry all season, and as a result of it, we do seem to be running out of legs a little bit at the business end of the season. But we'll see. This is a game. Let's be totally honest here. If Arsenal can't beat Southampton at home, we don't deserve to win the league. Simple as that. You know, Southampton are the worst team in the league. They're bottom of the table for a reason. And this is a game that if you want to win the league, you have to win. Simple as that. And it doesn't matter if we win 5 or 6-1, as Terry said, or if we maybe win 1 or 2-0. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It's just a game that you have to win. You have to find a way to win it any way you can. It doesn't matter. Yeah, if we can play well, score 4 or 5 goals, brilliant. But that isn't the most important thing, is it? The most important thing is just winning the game. We've got to win the game, and that's it. Let's see how it goes. Southampton they're a strange team, actually. I've always felt most of the season watching them that I'm quite surprised they're in the position that they're in. They do have some talented players. You know, they've got for a few managers this season, haven't they? And no one can seem to get that blend quite right. But they do have some really good players, actually. They do. And I'm quite surprised that they are in the position that they're in, bottom of the league, and fighting for their lives. They've got a very big squad, haven't they, in terms of numbers? You know, they've got a lot of players. And obviously, if they do get relegated, they are probably going to be losing pretty much most of them, won't they? Because they won't be able to afford to keep such a big squad in the Championship, even with the parachute payments and whatnot. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it? To see how that works out for Southampton. But I've always liked Southampton as a club. When I was at the Dell, I used to love going there. One of the best away games of the season. They've always been a nice club. It's good to see them in the Premier League. They have been for a few seasons now, doing pretty well. But yeah, it's a shame. It'd be a shame if they went down, wouldn't it? But there you go. They need some points from somewhere, and hopefully not tonight. But we will see. Mark's in the chat as well, doing my friend. I think you're from New Zealand, aren't you? So a lot of people all over the world watch our shows on these watch-alongs. So it's good to see you all in the chat. You're all well. Steve says Arteta has outsmarted himself last 2 weeks with subs and starting side. Hope not for it. No, he has outsmarted himself. You're absolutely right. And let's hope that he hasn't done it tonight. I mean, he doesn't want to make. He doesn't take risks, does he, or take too many chances, really, does he? He's gone with what he knows, generally. I say that's why I'm a little bit surprised that he's not Jorginho that's come in for Granit Xhaka. I'm a bit surprised about that, because he seems the most natural player that can come in and do that job. And he's done well, hasn't he, Jorginho? When he first came into the team in January, I thought he played really well the first few games. And then he's been out the side, hasn't he, more recently? And the same with Trossard. Had a brilliant start, didn't he, to his Arsenal career. He's been one of our best players since January, and he can't get in the team. And yeah, you could say, well, the team are playing well, we're winning games, or we're getting results. So that's probably why. But I don't know. The last couple of weeks, we haven't played particularly well, and we haven't got the results that we should have got. So yeah, we need to improve that. And Southampton have been a little bit of a bogey side for us, haven't they? Actually, they really have. I know at home they don't tend to beat us. They've never beaten us in the Premier League at the Emirates. They've won a League Cup tie, but I think maybe 2 League Cup ties actually they've won, haven't they? But they've never won a Premier League game. They haven't won away at Arsenal since 1987. That was at Highbury, of course. I'm sure it was Danny Wallace who scored the goal that day. I was at that game. Not a particularly great Arsenal performance. And the following season, of course, the beginning of the 88-89 season, they nearly won again, didn't they? When we scored a very, very late equaliser in the 95th minute. That was a game where Paul Davies got that ban for the incident with Glenn Cockrell. So, but they've, you know, we scored a late equaliser against them. Was it last season when Lacazette scored? No, that was No, that must have been the season before, because Lacazette, we beat them last season at the Emirates, didn't we? I think it was 3-0. But that game when they got a 2-2 draw that time, and we scored the very last kick of the game. Now that was under Unai Emery, wasn't it? Of course. So Southampton, they've been a little bit of a bogey side for us. They haven't been a side that we beat every time we play them. So it could be. These are the sort of games that could be quite tricky at this point in the season. I've always said that the teams that you want to be playing are teams that don't have anything to fight for. Teams that are just going through the motions a little bit. At this moment in time, you've got teams like Brentford who don't have anything to play for. They can't get in Europe. They're not going to get relegated. You want to be playing sort of teams around that area of the table, don't you? You don't want to be playing teams that have got something that they're fighting for, because it makes it 10 times more difficult. And obviously tonight, Southampton need the point. They need some points. So they're going to give everything in this game tonight. We know they are. They're going to give absolutely everything. And they're not the ideal team to be playing, really, let's be honest. But the fixtures are what they are. And I mean, to be fair, most teams at this moment in time have got something to play for, haven't they? I guess in the Premier League, the relegation battle is pretty much half the league, isn't it? And the other half are battling for Europe. It's probably only Brentford that probably haven't got anything to play for, really, when you think about it. But anyway, tonight has all got to be about Arsenal, hasn't it? It's got to be about Arsenal tonight. We've got to win the game. And a great performance and lovely goals will be fantastic. But ultimately, let's just win this game, get those 3 points, go 7 points clear. And Man City, yes, they'll have 2 games in hand. They're not playing this weekend, of course, because they're in the FA Cup. So their next game's not till Wednesday. And that's a rather big game, isn't it, against us? But that will then really put pressure on them, won't it, to have to beat us. They'll have to beat us on Wednesday if we win this game. Otherwise, the title's there for us to take, isn't it? So that's how important this game is, and that's how important Wednesday's going to be. But we'll worry about Wednesday later on. Nathan says, what are people's thoughts on James Ward-Prowse? I think apart from his free kick ability, he's actually not a great player. See, that's quite interesting, isn't it? I mean, obviously, he's not a world-class player. He's not. There's no doubt about that. But I think he's very, very good at what he does. Not just free kicks and set pieces. He's got a great delivery. Of course, he has one of the best in the world. But yeah, as an overall player, I wouldn't say he's a world-class player, but he's a good player, and he does a great job for the team, Southampton. And I like him, actually. I really do like him. So yeah, I think he's decent, and I think he could do a job at a bigger club than Southampton, if I'm honest. I do think he's good, but yeah, he's not in the top level, is he? Of course not. We know that. Anyway, the teams are coming out at the Emirates. Arsenal, of course, been led out, as always, by captain Martin Odegaard. Southampton, their captain is, of course, James Ward-Prowse. We were just talking about him. Let me know your thoughts on James Ward-Prowse. See you guys in the chat. Let me know what you think about him. I think he's decent. He's not quite at the... maybe a couple of years ago, I wouldn't have minded him at Arsenal, but I think we've moved ahead now, haven't we? So, yeah, I would like not to sign him now necessarily, but yeah, I think he's a good player. He could probably do a job at a top 6 team, I think. Someone not quite as good as us, Tottenham maybe. But I wouldn't really wish that on him, to be fair, because he's a nice guy, isn't he? So there you go. Terry says, just like to say thanks for your effort given to Arsenal and England. Leah Williamson this season, get back. Yeah, the best soon. Really, really bad news today. It's been confirmed, actually. Leah Williamson, England Lioness, is captain, and Arsenal, absolute legend, has torn her ACL. So she's missing the World Cup. She's going to be out for the best part of a year. So she's going to miss most of next season as well. Really, really disappointing. And another serious Arsenal women's injury this season. It's ridiculous, really, what's happened. And yeah, we hope that she recovers as quickly as possible, and that she makes a full recovery and is back playing again, back to the level that we've got expected from her, really. But yeah, it's a big blow, isn't it, with the semi-final of the Champions League coming up this weekend as well. Really, really big blow for her career, and obviously for Arsenal and for England. So yeah, wish her all the best, Leah, and look forward to seeing you back as soon as we can. Steve says, is she okay? Well, no, she's done her ACL, so she's not okay, really. But anyway, there you go. Terry, so Nathan, so I was just about to say Spurs. Yeah, that's that sort of team, isn't it? He's that kind of level for me. Bit better than Southampton, not quite good enough for the real top teams. He'd probably end up going to Liverpool, like most Southampton players seem to do, don't they? Steve says, you're kidding, that sad. No, unfortunately not. It happened in the game on Wednesday night against Manchester United. It looked bad at the time, and it's been confirmed today. So, yeah, very sad news. Mark says, I used to play in Kent. There was a team that wore the Arsenal kit. Yeah, I think there's a couple down that way, isn't there? Because obviously Arsenal have got a bit of a history in that part of the world. Steve says there's so much bad luck for the women's side. Yeah, there has been. I've never known a season like it for injuries and whatnot. It's been terrible. But anyway, the good news is that we've got a semi-final at the weekend to come on Sunday. So we look forward to that. But yeah, really, really disappointing for Leah and for Beth and Viv as well. Everyone that suffered injuries this season. Anyway, the teams are ready now for this game. We are looking forward to the kick-off here at the Emirates. Arsenal, of course, in red with red shirts, white sleeves, white shorts and red socks. Southampton in a kind of a light blue kit with some yellow trim, a rather sort of pattern on the front, looks a little bit 1980s. But anyway, it's quite a very 1980s, 1990s style away kit for Southampton. A little bit leery, actually. But anyway, we're just about to get off and underway here at the Emirates. Theo Walcott seems to be the centre of attention at the moment as the teams prepare for this kickoff. Arsenal doing their little pre-match huddle. Big night for Fabio Vieira, as we said, because an opportunity for him in the team. He's probably not going to keep his spot, I'm sure. Granit Xhaka will be fit for Wednesday night away at Manchester City. You certainly wouldn't want to throw Fabio Vieira into that cauldron, would you? But we'll see what happens with that over the next couple of days and see. But yeah, it's a big night for Fabio Vieira. Let's see what he can produce and see what happens. We've got Kanisha in the chat says, good afternoon to you, host of the show today. No, and good afternoon to you. It's sort of evening here in England, but it's afternoon where you are. That's great. Hope you're having a good day. We're just about to kick off here at the Emirates. I'll say Southampton is kind of rather blue kit, and they are attacking the goal to our left, the North Bank, and we are off and underway here at the Emirates tonight. There's a long ball forward there up the far side by Southampton, headed away there by Gabriel to Martinelli. Plays it back again to Gabriel over on that far side. And he plays it back to Aaron Ramsdale. It's all in yellow tonight, the Arsenal goalkeeper in front of the North Bank at the moment. Plays the ball. Oh, that's a very poor clearance, actually. So presented the ball straight away. Oh, Southampton has scored like Bournemouth inside 27 seconds. Ramsdale gave the ball away. And what a shock. It's Alcaraz who scored. Carlos Alcaraz inside 25 seconds. Terrible, terrible ball out from Ramsdale. Absolutely terrible pass straight to the Southampton player. And he rifled it into that corner. What on earth is Ramsdale thinking? Really, really terrible pass that was. Straight to Alcaraz, and the shot into the corner of the net from the edge of the box there. And just like Bournemouth, we've conceded early. Really, really poor distribution from Ramsdale there. And a really, really terrible goal to concede. But having said that, we've gone 2-0 up in the last two games, haven't managed to win. So maybe we need to go behind, and it might liven us up and not throw away the lead. Because obviously it's not an ideal start. And again, another South Coast team have come to the Emirates and scored a very early goal. We've still got Brighton to come as well in a few weeks. So put some money on Brighton scoring inside the first minute. Anyway, Arsenal kicks off. Again, and Aaron Ramsdale this time kicks the ball long, which may have been a better option in the first place. Or a miss kick at the back there by a Southampton defender. And suddenly, Arsenal looked as though we may have had a chance, but Southampton do clear the ball away. And they've got possession again. Arsenal just need to settle down. We said this in a game against Bournemouth, didn't we? I was sure that's a foul there by Thomas Partey on the... I don't know who that was, actually. It's Perraud, the French left-back, getting forward there for Southampton. Caught an arm in the face there from Thomas Partey. Steve says we are cursed. No, we're not cursed at all. Don't worry. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. Anyway, the ball's now back with the Southampton goalkeeper, Gavin Bazumo, and now Southampton trying to play the ball forward up this near side. It is Adam Armstrong tackled there in midfield. A good challenge there. Was it flying in there from, I think it was Lavia. And referee tonight actually is Simon Hooper. Not that it makes a difference because they're all the same referee, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they are. They're all the same referee. Saka, it was, got a little bit of a knock just there in that foul, but he looks fine. Rob Holding with his ball forward. Arsenal really haven't got going at all, but Gabriel Jesus trying to put the Southampton goalkeeper there under pressure, but he clears it away. Bazumo up that far side to Elianusi, the Norwegian. And it's been a great start for Southampton on what is a big night for them as well. Let's not forget, it's not just about Arsenal, is it, in this game? It is about Southampton trying to battle to keep themselves in the Premier League. And they couldn't have got off to a better start, could they? Scoring a goal within 27 seconds, I think, were on the clock when the goal went in. We've conceded 1 or 2 early goals, haven't we, this season? Rob Holding now on halfway for Arsenal, plays it to this near side. Ben White, Arsenal's right back, plays up line to Bukayo Saka. Perro there's very, very close to Saka, and he goes back to Rob Holding. And Arsenal just need to settle now. Gabriel plays the ball at that far side for Gabriel Martinelli. Got 2 defenders around him. He doesn't care. He's come away with the ball, Martinelli. This is a great run from Martinelli. He's gone past 4 or 5 players. He's into the box. Gabriel Martinelli, can he get the final ball across? No, he can't. It's a goal kick. It was good defending, actually, in the end. A great run, though, from Martinelli. He took it past 2 players over on that far touchline and then just ran at the Southampton defence. Went past 2 or 3 players. But then it was good defending there at the end. I think that was that Bella Kotchup there. Or was it Lavia again? But anyway, good defending in the end by Southampton. But what a run that was. Really good play that was there from Gabriel Martinelli. And that's what we need to start doing a bit more of, running at this Southampton defence, because they do look a bit shaky. They concede a lot of goals usually, don't they? That ball played forward. They're looking for the runner Gabriel Jesus, but it's cut out. Now Fabio Vieira plays it back to Alexander Zinchenko, gets it back, Fabio Vieira, and then plays it back again to Gabriel. Arsenal just starting to settle there, you feel. Thomas Partey now with the ball, plays up this near side, Bukayo Saka. A little bit of space for the first time. Ben White's gone outside him on the overlap, as he's done quite a lot in recent games. Instead, he finds Thomas Partey now, and there he goes square to Gabriel. Arsenal just looking to get our passes together. Martinelli plays it up the line to Fabio Vieira. Can he get a cross in? He can't, because it's blocked by James Ward-Prowse. He's going to be a corner to Arsenal. Nathan says there, Martinelli looks sharp. He does, yeah. He's a good player, isn't he? We know he is. Mark says there, was Sky TV around in the 80s, early 90s, or was English Premier League just available on Match of the Day? Well, the actual Sky Sports that we know now started in the start of the Premier League in 1992, but it was around before. They didn't really get involved in the football before the Premier League, though, Sky. So that's sort of when they started, really. I think they were around in the 80s initially. Sky's advice is a good move from Arsenal inside the box. The ball goes across, but it's into the side netting. It was Martin Ødegaard driving forward inside the Southampton penalty. They couldn't really get that corner clear, and the ball was played into Thomas Partey, back to Ødegaard, and he couldn't manage to shuffle the ball across the goal, and it's into the side netting. Terry says Zinchenko must be taking shooting lessons off Partey. Steve says, make a change. Just kidding. He's not going to make a change, is he? Southampton seems to have a little bit of a problem here, actually. There seems to be an injury issue to Armel Bella Ketchup, we're going to call him. And he might well be squashed in this game at the minute because he's got an injury issue, but he's playing on for the time being. And that ball's up that far side, looking for the run of Gabriel Jesus. He keeps it in, and he's managed to win a corner as he off Jan Bednarek. And Gabriel Jesus pushes the ball out of the big pole's hands. And it's going to be a corner to Arsenal. Again, Arsenal starting to pile a bit of pressure on. We played nearly 7 minutes here at the Emirates. It is Southampton 1, Arsenal 0. That very early goal. We've got a great chance to maybe get an equaliser here with this corner. Again, it's played short. Martin Ødegaard over on that far side. Plays it back out to Fabio Vieira, and that's with Martinelli again. Goes past another challenge, gets to the byline. Gabriel Martinelli, can he find the right cross? Bazumo punches it out. It comes out to Zinchenko, and he's fired it into the clock end. That went about 10 yards over the crossbar there. Really, really poor finish that was from Alexander Zinchenko. Just that one Arsenal goal so far this season, of course, in that game against Aston Villa, wasn't it? The 4-2 victory. Anyway, Southampton in possession again now, and the ball goes back to goalkeeper Bazumo, just on the edge of the Southampton penalty. He's in purple. The Southampton goalkeeper kicks it long up that far side. Theo Walcott's after it, but Zinchenko's going to get there first. And Walcott back on familiar territory at the Emirates, of course. He had a great Arsenal career, didn't he? I think he's quite an underrated player, Theo Walcott, for Arsenal. Scored over 100 goals in, 400 games, playing mostly on the wing. 1 in 4 strike rate. That's pretty good going, isn't it? He was a good finisher, Theo Walcott. Very good player. and one of my favourites of the Emirates era, definitely. And it's good to see him back and playing, still playing. He must be in his early 30s now, isn't he? And he's still got lots to offer in the Premier League, which is good. Anyway, Arsenal in possession now. Gabriel over on that far side plays it back to Rob Holding. Now it's with Thomas Partey. Ben White's on this near side, but Thomas Partey goes up the line instead to Bukayo Saka. Perro's very close to him, and Saka's done really well actually. Spins away from the Frenchman, but he's won a free kick, and Arsenal can regroup. It is going to be Ben White with this set piece for Arsenal. Terry says Magic looks right up for this game. No, he does. Yeah, he's had a good start. Gabriel Martinelli, 2 or 3 good runs already, getting to that byline. Not quite able to get that final ball yet. Anyway, Zinchenko pings that ball forward for Fabio Vieira. Not a great touch, but he manages to keep possession. He's back with Zinchenko again. Zinchenko's almost playing in that Granit Xhaka role, isn't he now? As Arsenal try to come for. That's a poor ball actually, though, from Gabriel Martinelli, and Southampton can get a breakaway here. Theo Walcott over on that far side. Plays the ball back to Kyle Walker-Peters, former Tottenham defender, of course, a very good player. Steve says, why did he leave Arsenal? Well, I mean, I think he just left because just got to that point in his career. He'd been at Arsenal a long time. And yeah, it was right at the very end of Arsene Wenger's time as well, wasn't it? I think everyone knew change was coming, and maybe he felt it was the right time to move on. But it probably was the right time for him to move on, let's be honest. But a very, very good player, and always enjoyed watching him play. Some great moments he gave us, didn't he? Goal in the FA Cup final. He scored goals in big games for Arsenal, didn't he, Theo Walcott? Cup finals, semi-finals, European Champions League knockout games. He was always seen to be, in those big games, he seemed to rise to the occasion, didn't he? Anyway, Gabriel Martinelli's rising to the occasion here inside the penalty area. Tries to pull the ball back. Good defending again, though, by Southampton. That was Lavia there, Romeo Lavia, the Belgium. But Arsenal starting to get into our rhythm now. That ball played up that far side again. Fabio Vieira's cross. It's going to come to the far post. Ben White on the volley, but it's hit the defender. Has it gone straight out for a goal kick? If it was a very poor volley from Ben White. Got 2 goals this season, hasn't he, Ben White? So he's looking for more now. He scored, of course, recently, didn't he, in our last home game, in fact, wasn't it? That was a good cross there, actually. And Ben White miskicked it. In fact, I'm not quite sure what happened there, whether it hit the defender or not. But anyway, it's a Southampton ball. Mark says there, what's number 34's shirt's illness, not an injury? No, he's got illness, yeah, some sort of, I think it's just some mild illness that he just picked up today. So he's not available to play, but he should be okay for Wednesday, I'm sure. Good old Granit Xhaka. He's had a great season. Steve says there, he was great, big time player. He was a big time player, yeah, really was. Now Southampton have got a breakaway here. This could be a dangerous moment. It's the goal scorer. It's a good ball, Theo Walcott. Oh dear, it's 2-0. Theo Walcott's back at the Emirates. He doesn't celebrate. I'm sure that means a lot to him, that goal. It could mean a lot to Southampton as well. Poor defending again from Arsenal. And this time we've got a 2-0 deficit to pull back inside the first 14 minutes. What a shocking start this has been, and it's Theo Walcott with the goal. Fair play to him for not celebrating, actually. Terry says, it just goes to show how young Theo was when he was at Arsenal. He had a really, really short hair, and now he's grown, he's got a ponytail. Yeah, I mean, he was 16 when he joined Arsenal, wasn't he? Anyway, Zinchenko just called the team in for some sort of team meeting, as we've just conceded that second goal. Maybe he wants to concentrate more on what he's doing on the pitch and playing his own game. Because this has been a shocking start from Arsenal. But we don't like being 2-0 up, do we? So maybe we prefer being 2-0 down. We were 2-0 down, of course, against Bournemouth, as we said. Arsenal gave the ball away in midfield. That was actually Martin Ødegaard. And it was Alcaraz, the first goal scorer there, with a ball played for. It was a lovely ball, actually. Gabriel caught out there. Theo Walcott made that running behind. I did say a few moments ago, he's a good finisher, Theo Walcott. And he finished that first time into that far corner. Again, maybe Ramsdale could have maybe done a bit better with that. Nathan said, where was Zinchenko? Well, Zinchenko plays in midfield. He's a left-back who plays in midfield, and we wonder why there's massive gaps in the place behind him. Kieran Tierney would have been there and done his job. Steve says, it's not happening. I don't believe this. Well, I do really, yeah. I'm totally not surprised, if I'm honest. I'm a little bit surprised that Southampton are 2-0 up. I'm not surprised that we look as though we're completely bottling the league, as we bottle everything in the last few years. But anyway, still early days. We've got plenty of time. Gabriel Jesus now looking to try and get Arsenal straight back in it again. There's a ball played into Gabriel Martinelli, but good defending again from Southampton, who, they've got a poor defensive record. But you have to say, they've defended well in these first 15 minutes, and they've obviously looked very dangerous when they've had a counter attack. Terry says, I hope Odegaard just said to Zinchenko, get off the pitch and let KT come on. Well, just not necessarily get off the pitch, just stay in your own position and do your job at defending like you're supposed to do. And then maybe that might help. But although Martin Odegaard gave the ball away in the lead up to that goal, so he's probably got not much right to say much to anyone at this moment. But he's a captain. He needs to lift the team. He needs to lift himself, and we need to turn this around. Now we'll see what we're made of. You know, we've given away 2-goal leads in the last 2 games. Now we've got to find a way back from 2 goals down. And this is an absolute disastrous start from Arsenal. Steve says all downhill since Saliba out. It's not just that, is it? I mean, yeah, that's obviously he's a loss. There's no doubt about that. He's a great player and he's had a great season. Also, Southampton have just given the ball away. In fact, they haven't, because the referee's given a free kick against Thomas Partey again. And Arsenal just need to regain a little bit of our composure. We just looked as though we were getting into the game with some good passing movements, and then suddenly we lost the ball and Southampton have broke away and they've found themselves 2-0 up. But then Bournemouth were 2-0 up here, wasn't they, as we said, and that didn't do them any good, did it? So Southampton now took that free kick quickly. It's flicked on by Adam Armstrong. Phil says, what the hell? Well, exactly, yeah, what the hell? It's been, a horrible start, let's be honest. Horrible start. From Arsenal, and we've got a lot of work to do to get back into this game. The only good news is there's plenty of time. We've only played 17 minutes, so there's plenty of time for Arsenal to find a way back into this game. But it has been an absolutely disastrous start from the very first seconds of the game when Southampton took the lead with Alcaraz, and Theo Walcott has just added a second back, I say, on a ground that he graced so well for so long. I mean, at this moment in time, this victory, if it is going to be a victory, would move Southampton off the bottom of the table, and they'd only be 1 point from safety. Anyway, Bukayo Saka now on this near side gets into Wolves a penalty and plays it back to Martin Odegaard. He flicks the ball out to that far side to Zinchenko inside the penalty. Tries to go around the outside, tries a shot. Oh, it went across the 6-yard box. Zinchenko's claiming it was a corner. The referee's given a goal kick, I believe, and Zinchenko's not very happy about that. But put your energies into getting your game sorted out, mate, rather than shouting at the referee. He did well there, though, Zinchenko. Got past his man, drilled the ball across the 6-yard box. Nobody got a touch on that. Quite clearly, the goalkeeper just moved his hand out of the way. Didn't get anywhere near it. Martinelli didn't quite read that enough and get himself on the end of it. Would have had a simple tap-in, but not to be on this occasion for Martinelli. Sorry. Anyway, Southampton have just won the ball again in midfield. But Rob Holding steps in, but he's given the ball straight to James Ward-Prowse. And Southampton, you have to say, have got their tails up at the moment. Gavin Bazuma, the goalkeeper, kicks it long up that far side, but it's gone out for a throw to Arsenal. Nearly 19 minutes played it is. You're not seeing things on that screen. That is the actual real score. Southampton are leading 2-0 here at the Emirates tonight. 2 goals in the first 16 minutes from Carlos Alcaraz and, of course, Theo Walcott, who scored, of course, at the Emirates for Southampton a couple of years ago as well, didn't he? In a game that finished in a 1-1 draw. Another player who seems to, the ex-Arsenal player curse, really, always seems to score against us. But I'll say fair play to him not to celebrate in front of the North Bank. So well done, Theo. Still obviously got a lot of respect for the club, and we've got a lot of respect for him. But wish he hadn't scored tonight, but there you go. We've played nearly 20 minutes. It is still, I say, 2-0 at Southampton, but Arsenal now looking to try to... We looked as though we were shocked by that first goal. It took us 10 minutes to kind of get going again, and now we conceded another one. Now this is better, though. Martin Odegaard put Saka in on this near side. Bukayo Saka just on the edge of the Southampton penalty, gets to the byline, pulls it back. The shot comes in. It's a goal. We pull one back. It's Gabriel Martinelli, and that is just what we needed. Just what we needed in this game. Gabriel Martinelli with the finish. That is a great goal. Bukayo Saka made it with that run down at the near side here. It was Martin Odegaard put him in. Martinelli's trying to get the crowd up. He's deserved a goal in his opening 20 minutes. Gabriel Martinelli, he's been our best player probably, certainly in the attacking sense. Martin Odegaard with that ball through there to Bukayo Saka. He's definitely onside. Lovely ball it was. Saka did really well. Got into the penalty area, went around the outside, got to the byline, pulled it back. And on the volley, what a finish that is from about 12 yards from Gabriel Martinelli. And he has looked the most likely so far for Arsenal in this game. We've got a goal back. And suddenly, is the comeback on? Is the comeback on already? Let's hope it is. just when we needed something, we've got something, and it is the little Brazilian. Nathan says there, great play by Saka. Phil says 5 more. Well, we'll take 2 more and win the game, won't we? Let's be honest. But 5 more would be nice. Terry says, well taken, Magic. Lovely goal, says Nathan. Indeed, it was a lovely goal. And it could have made a big difference in this game, because suddenly now Arsenal should have the time. You remember against Bournemouth, we were 2-0 down with, 25 minutes to play. This time we've got it back to 2-1, only 20 minutes played. So we've got plenty of time to turn this around. The crowd are now bang up for it. And are we going to see an Arsenal come back from 2 goals down? Steve says there, Arteta's plan go 2-0 down. Maybe it was. He certainly didn't want to go 2-0 up, did he, in the first half? Definitely not. No chance that he want to do that. Anyway, Saka again now on this near side, just created that goal. The only player in the Premier League to get double figures for goals and assists. Theo Walcott there couldn't keep control of the ball, and Arsenal now with their tails up, sensing a comeback before half-time. The ball played out to that far side. Gabriel Martinelli with the ball now. He's got Fabio Vieira's gone outside, and Vieira's now got the ball right over on that far touchline in front of where those Southampton fans are gathered behind the clock end in that far corner. Thomas Partey now. Southampton have forced Arsenal back there. It's with Gabriel, plays it to Rob Holding inside at the centre circle. Hopefully that's the worry over now for tonight. We're back on an even keel. Things look a little bit more normal, but we are still losing the game. Let's remember, so we still need a lot more. But suddenly things are looking a lot better. Thomas Partey pings this ball to Saka again. Ben White charges off on the overlap this time, and Saka, does he find him? No, he doesn't. He plays it to Martin Odegaard instead. Now it's with Ben White. Austin Walls the edge of the 6-yard box, cleared away by Bella Ketchup. And it is going to be a Frodo to Arsenal on this near side. Martin Odegaard wants to take it quickly, does take it quickly, finds Rob Holding, plays the ball square to Gabriel. And Arsenal now in complete control in terms of possession. But we do still need another goal or 2 if we're going to win this game. But at least things are looking a lot more rosier now. It's played out to that far side to Zinchenko, plays it infield to Gabriel Jesus, beats a couple of players and plays the ball out to the far side to Arsenal's goal scorer, Gabriel Martinelli. Does well and finds Zinchenko again. Plays up that line to Martinelli again. Dinks the ball over the top for the runner, Gabriel Jesus, inside the penalty area. A couple of defenders around him. He's got past them, has he? No, he hasn't, because that was good defending again, actually, by Southampton. I think that was Bella Ketchup again, who's looked a pretty decent player tonight so far. And Southampton have won a throw. No, they haven't. Arsenal have won a throw. First of all, the referee gave it to Southampton. Arsenal went to take it quickly. And then the referee's gone with his linesman's decision. It is an Arsenal throw. It looked like an Arsenal throw. I don't quite know where the referee got that decision from. But anyway, the ball's now back out over on that far side. Martin Odegaard in possession for Arsenal. Plays it back to Rob Holding. We've played 24 minutes nearly here at the Emirates. It is Arsenal 1, Southampton 2. Long ball played over the top. Is he onside? Gabriel Jesus inside the penalty area. Pulls it back towards Bukayo Saka. Didn't quite reach him. In fact, the flag's gone up now. He was offside. He looked as though he was offside. He certainly was offside when he got the ball, but he did look as though he probably was. Terry says there, we're playing the ball around far too slow. Yeah, but that's what we do. We play it around slowly. That we keep possession. We kind of maybe pull the opposition apart, and then we put 2 quick passes together and score. It's what Man City have done so well, haven't they? That's their style of play, isn't it? They just keep possession, and then they'll suddenly flick the switch and score a goal. And that's almost how we are trying to play as well, isn't it? It worked before, didn't it? We did that with the goal from Martinelli. Now Theo Walcott plays the ball back into midfield to Lavia. Does well, actually, and plays the ball forward again. Southampton look quite smooth when they're attacking, don't they? They've not had too many attacks, but they've scored 2 goals. Terry says Tomato Ketchup is playing well at the back. He is. He's playing very well at the back, Tomato Ketchup. That's what we'll call him, actually, because he should be called Tomato Ketchup, shouldn't he? But he is playing well anyway. Southampton in possession again. They're coming forward up this near side with Perrault, the French defender, puts a cross in towards the far post. Actually, it's a decent cross. Good save from Aaron Ramsdale. Walcott again, another save from Aaron Ramsdale. Oh, dear me, Southampton almost got a 3rd goal. 2 efforts there. The header at the far post, I'm not quite sure who that header was. Oh, it was Elianusi there, down at Ramsdale's feet. He managed to push the ball out, and then it was Alcaraz on the follow-up Great effort that was from Alcaraz, actually, and a great save from Aaron Ramsdale to get that one over the crossbar from close range. And every time Southampton come forward, they actually look dangerous, really dangerous, don't they? Really, really smooth the way they're playing Southampton in attack. And they've got themselves a corner. 26 minutes nearly played here at the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Southampton 2. For the neutral, I suppose it's probably been a decent game to watch, but it's been quite nervy for an Arsenal perspective. James Ward-Prowse is going to take this corner, as you would expect, because his set-piece delivery, as we spoke about earlier, is extremely good. And that's a decent corner towards the near post. Ramsdale punch, because Arsenal can't get it away. The shot comes in, it's blocked, and Arsenal do now manage to scramble the ball away. It goes back to James Ward-Prowse. Southampton haven't got their tails up. This is a good run forward, actually. The ball out to Theo Walker over on that far side. Pulls it back to the edge of the area. Didn't quite have the direction, but Ward-Prowse picks it up again across to the far post. Headed back down again. And Arsenal struggling here to get the ball away, but Thomas Partey steps in and he's won a free kick. In fact, it was Bukayo Saka, sorry. And it's going to be a yellow card, actually, to Southampton there. Not quite sure which Southampton player it was. It was a pullback there by Alcaraz. On Bukayo Saka. The two players laugh about it afterwards, but Alcaraz got himself a yellow card. Nathan says, well done there, Saka. Yeah, he did well, yeah. Doing his defensive duties as we expect that he does, because that's what he does. He does it really well. But Arsenal may be a little bit fortunate not to have conceded another goal just then, actually. Two good saves from Aaron Ramsdale in quick succession. A double save, you could almost call it. And now Thomas Partey bringing the ball forward for Arsenal, pings it forward now. Saka, he's got Ben White in front of him here on his near side. Ben White gets the ball, tries to do a little flick inside. Perraud reads that, and his clearance then hits Ben White and goes out for a throw to Southampton. But that was maybe Ben White trying to overcomplicate it there, maybe with that clever little, or tried a clever little flick, but Perraud read it, and he's now won a throw for Southampton. We've played 27 and a half minutes. Southampton still leading. Those were two very, very early goals that shocked Arsenal, but we did get one back with Gabriel Martinelli, and now we're coming forward again, looking for the equaliser. Zinchenko coming forward, played out to that far side again to Gabriel Martinelli, who's been Arsenal's best player. Another cross in. The header comes in for Martin Odegaard. Our free header as well from about 10 yards. Put it over the bar, high over the bar. It's a really poor header in the end from Martin Odegaard. Great play again from Martinelli. He's been fantastic in this first half. Oh, free header there. He got in between the two defenders. There was nobody near him, Martin Odegaard. And he's headed it high over the bar. Heading's not his strong point, to be fair, but he's got to do better than that with that opportunity there. Theo Walcott's now gone down with an injury. Be a shame for him, wouldn't it, if he has to go off on another match at the Emirates. Gabriel Martinelli there, of course, I don't think they played together at Arsenal, did they? Anyway, Southampton now having to make, probably going to have to make a substitution because Theo Walcott may not be able to continue. He's not had a bad 28 and a half minutes, though, has he? Got himself a goal again at the Emirates, as he's done before for Southampton, hasn't he? He's getting some treatment. Let's hope he's going to be okay. Good to see him, I say, back at the Emirates, and he still shows that he can do a job in the Premier League. So fair play to him, but he may not be able to play much longer in this game as he's getting some treatment now. They're just showing the goal, 28 seconds it was given as, and it was a good finish from Alcaraz. And then the second goal, it was Alcaraz's assist and Theo Walcott's first time finish. How many times has he done that? And then Martinelli's volley at the other end pulled it back to 2-1. And this game is nicely poised, isn't it? We've got up towards a half-hour mark. It's been a little bit more open than Arsenal would have wanted, but let's see what the rest of this game brings. Let's hope Theo Walcott's going to be okay. Both teams are coming. It's quite traditional now, isn't it? What happens is when a player's injured, the rest of the team come in for a drinks break and get some coaching off the manager. That seems to be the way it is. I think Theo Walcott's going to be okay, actually. He's back on his feet again. He's having a drink and he looks like he's going to go back on again. A couple of Arsenal legends there, Thierry Henry and Patrick Vieira. Wow, what we couldn't do for two players like that in this team. They would get us over the line, wouldn't they, in these moments, definitely. Terry says there, to be fair, all three goals have been well taken. And they have. Yeah, they've been well taken. You're right. Not great defending, certainly for the two Southampton goals. And I'm sure Southampton will look at their defending for the Arsenal goal. But, yeah, they were well taken goals. They were, yeah, very well taken goals. And it's been an entertaining game, I suppose, in a sort of masochistic kind of a way. But Arsenal are still in it, though. That's the main thing. We've got ourselves back in it. And it could have been 3-1, I'd say, not that long ago. So we have to be grateful that it's only still 2-1. But Arsenal with a lot of work to do, and Southampton have shown what a threat they can pose in this game. Good play on this near side again from Theo Walcott, who's certainly looking up for this game tonight, isn't he? That's a long ball played forward. Southampton looking to get in again at full stretch there. Theo Walcott with a shot from distance. It wasn't really going to test Aaron Ramsdale. It was straight at the Arsenal goalkeeper. A first time shot there. Not many players would take that on it there to try a shot from that far out first time, but he did. Theo Walcott, and it went straight into the arms of Aaron Ramsdale. Gabriel plays the ball into Zinchenko back in his midfield position that he seems to like to be in. Thomas Partey with that long ball looking for Saka again. Up this near side, Bukayo Saka again. Perro's very, very close to him, got his arms all over him, then pushes him over. I don't quite know what the Frenchman's complaining about. He's going to get a yellow card. Clearly a foul. He's got his arms all over Saka and he's pushed him to the ground. And he's complaining. I don't know quite what he's complaining about, really. Yeah, clear foul. Probably a yellow card as well, to be fair. And that means he's going to have to be a bit more careful now. And Saka's got the opportunity to have more of a run at him again, because he's not going to be able to foul him, is he? So that could work in Arsenal's favour there, that yellow card. Nathan says they're stating the obvious, but Saka is such a good player. He's an amazing player. He really is. He is an amazing player. And what a fantastic human being he is as well. So down to earth and grounded. Absolutely brilliant. You know, there's a lot of young English footballers in particular don't seem to have the right attitude today off the pitch. Very arrogant and cocky. And Saka's a complete opposite, isn't he? He's just the perfect role model for any young football player, isn't he? He puts his cross in a free kick, a great ball actually headed out, comes to the edge of the box, a shot comes in. I don't know if it was a shot actually. Gabriel Jesus leads it for Bukayo Saka, can put another cross in again towards the far post. Thomas Partey's got a bit of space, comes to the edge of the box to to Fabio Vieira, tried to curl it in, but it's gone wide. And it's going to be a goal kick to Southampton. Rajendra says, hi Rich, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Terry says, how did the linesman not see that? It's a great cross there from Bukayo Saka, scoop to that far post. And then it comes back to Vieira and he curls it wide. And that is that. So we've got Gamer Bosco, how you doing? Good to see you. Rajendra says, ref finally booking Southampton. Yeah, I think they've had 2 now, haven't they? Because Alcaraz got booked as well, didn't he? So they've got 2 yellow cards. I think we've got 1, haven't we? But anyway, Gabriel Bosco says hi again. Yeah, hi mate, how you doing? Hope you're well. Good to see you. Let's hope Arsenal can find a way back from what was looking a really tough mountain to climb. Now it's just a little hill, isn't it? But anyway, we've still got to climb it and get back into this game. Good play in midfield again from Lavia. He looks a decent player as well. You see, I've said this about Southampton. Every time I've watched them this season, and I've not watched them a lot, I'll be honest, 4 or 5 times maybe, they do have some very good players. And I'm amazed where they are in the league, really amazed that they should be a lot higher with the players that they've got. Lavia is a great player. We've said about Ward-Prowse, we know how good he is. You know, they've got some decent players. Tomato Ketchup, as we said, at the back's having a good game. He looks a good player, doesn't he? Theo Walcott's still doing the business. Alcaraz looks good. I mean, how are these bottom of the league, honestly? It's crazy, really. But anyway, they are bottom of the league and they need a win. Game of Bosco's gone 3-2. Well, it might be 3-2. It would be great if it was a repeat of Bournemouth. Would it be another 97th minute winner, or will we do it a bit earlier in this game? We've certainly got ourselves back in it a bit earlier, haven't we? Which would be good. Anyway, Arsenal now coming forward again with Zinchenko in that midfield position. Finds Thomas Partey, skips away from James Ward-Prowse. And then finds Zinchenko. This time he's over on that far side. Zinchenko scoops the ball. That's a nice pass, actually, to Martin Odegaard. Plays it back to Rob Holding. Now it's with Bukayo Saka on this near side. Bukayo Saka plays the ball in to Gabriel Jesus. A bit of a loose touch there, actually. And Southampton running into a bit of trouble there. And then Gabriel Jesus comes clear with it. And Southampton now can clear it away with Tomato Ketchup. Gabriel Bosco says the game against Liverpool was terrible. Well, it wasn't terrible. It was not great. West Ham, I agree. West Ham was terrible. Yeah, that was an absolute disaster. Fabio Vieira just got injured, actually, in the tackle there. He's gone down holding his leg. It was a nice little flick originally there, and then the tackle came in. It wasn't a foul by Walker Peters. I don't think it looked like he just won the ball. He did just win the ball. He has sort of caught Fabio Vieira as well. And Fabio Vieira's gone down. He does look like he's made of glass, doesn't he? Anyway, there's a quick throw. Release Martinelli down on that far side. Martinelli, can he get across in? He can't because it's blocked. In fact, it comes back off Martinelli, off Walker Peters. It is going to be a goal kick. Terry says, yes, totally agree, Gary. Yeah, well, I'll say the Liverpool game wasn't terrible. The West Ham game certainly was. And there's been spells in this first half here tonight which haven't been great either, let's be honest. But so far, Arsenal, at least I'd say we've managed to get ourselves a foothold back in this game. And I still expect us to go on and win, let's be honest. But we've still got work to do. And we've got to be a little bit more switched on defensively because Southampton do look pretty smooth coming forward. Walker Peters there, battling away over on that far side. The header comes in there from, I think that's Bednarek, is it? It is the big pole. He's gone down in a heap, having won that header against Martinelli. And it's a long way down, isn't it, when you're about 6'8" or however tall he is, the Polish defender. He certainly landed awkwardly there, didn't he? Game of Boss goes, what minute are we in? 37th minute we're in. So we're getting towards half time, and there's been a few little injuries, hasn't there? Theo Walker had an injury now. Bednarek's got an injury. And so there'll be a bit of stoppage time at the end of this first half, you would imagine. But there's 7 minutes to play. And Southampton is not looking good, actually, for Bednarek. It looks as though the way he fell could be a head injury, could be a concussion type injury. He may not be able to continue, actually. But anyway, we shall see what happens to the big defender. They've got some options on the bench, haven't they? They've got Leancha, of course, who had a good game against us at the St Mary's, and Kalatakar as well. But this isn't looking good for Bednarek, actually. He's in fact, he's had a stretcher coming on now. There's some more medical teams coming on. It doesn't look good at all. And I've got a feeling his night may well be over. And Southampton may have to make a change in this first half in their back four. It's a bit of a concern there over Bednarek over on that far side. A lot of medical team around him. He hasn't moved yet, but he's slowly getting back to his feet again, is he? He's sitting up now. I don't know whether, of course, if he's got a concussion, he will have to come off, of course, as we know the concussion rules. It would mean a concussion substitution as well, which means they get to make an extra substitution as well, don't they? If that's the case. I'm not sure whether or not he's got a concussion, but I'm sure the medical team will know. Gabriel Martinelli helped him to his feet there. It was him that was involved in that challenge. And good to see that the big pole's up on his feet again. All 6'9" of him. And he seems to be okay. Whether or not he'll be able to continue in the game, that'll be down to the medical team to decide, won't it? But he certainly is back up on his feet again. Not looking too happy with life, you have to say, but not surprising, really. I think he's maybe being told he has to be taken off. In fact, he is. The medical guy there is signalling a substitution. Bednarek doesn't want to go off. He feels as though he's okay. He wants to come back on, but I'd say the concussion rules are concussion rules. Even the Arsenal medical guy there is also having a word with him now. And despite the fact that he feels okay, on a Sunday morning, you just get up and carry on with you, let's be honest. But in the Premier League these days, you have to be careful. And Bednarek, who seems okay in himself, is going to have to go off by the look of things. But so far, they haven't made that substitution. In fact, they're going to make it now. And it is going to be Kalatakar coming on. Darje Kalatakar, the Croatian defender, is going to replace Jan Bednarek, who's still not very happy about having to go off. And you feel a little bit sorry for him, actually, because he'd been playing pretty well as well. But anyway, Southampton have got to reorganise at the back, and that could be good news for Arsenal. Sometimes having to make a defensive substitution is never good for your flow of your team, is it? There's a foul there by Gabriel Jesus on Walker Peters. Bednarek is still complaining he wants to come back on again. He's saying he's okay, but the medical people seem to be signalling for the substitution. He's desperate to come back on. The big pole, he's complaining there. Theo Walcott, he's having a word with him as well. And he's saying he's okay. You can clearly see he's saying he's okay. And The substitution's been made anyway. Kaleta Carr has come on, and Bednarek is having to take that long walk round. I mean, it was an awkward fall, actually. It really was an awkward fall for the big guy. But he's not happy, is he? But anyway, he's gone off now, and it is a Croatian who's come on. Let's see what difference that makes in Southampton's defence, because they've been looking fairly solid. But it's Daju Kaleta Carr who's come on, and his first involvement there is to do a tackle there on Gabriel Martinelli. Gay Roscoe says, I beg we get a goal before half time. We've got one before half time. There's no panic, is there? I'm not feeling panicked. I think there's plenty of time left in this game for us to get the goals that we need to win. We need to play better, obviously, but we've got enough time to be able to do it, and I'm sure we will come back and win this game. But yeah, obviously get one before half time would be great. But let's see what happens. There's a long ball played up on that far side. It's going to be Martinelli against Kyle Walker-Peters. Martinelli gets there first. Good play for Martinelli, actually. He's wrestled away there by Walker-Peters, who's get a yellow card as well. The referee's saying it's 3 or 4 times he's committed a foul. Walker-Peters not very happy with that decision. But he had his arms all over Gabriel Martinelli there, and he did finally push him over. Again, he can't have too many complaints. The other fullback got booked for a similar thing, didn't he? Perro, a few moments ago. Bednarek is still not happy at all. He's complaining to his manager there. The manager's just having a word with him. I don't think the decision was made for any reason other than it's the concussion rule, isn't it? And if a player suffered from any sort of concussion, they have to go off. And Bednarek has just trooped down the tunnel, not very happy with life. Anyway, it's a free kick to Arsenal over on that far side. Gabriel Martinelli's over this. It's a bit like a corner, just a little bit closer in. An opportunity for Arsenal to get that ball into the box. But a bit of a better angle than a corner as well. Martinelli plays it in towards the far post, but it's gone wide. I don't know whether that was a shot or a cross. Either way, it's gone behind. We're into the last 3 minutes of normal time at the end of this first half. To be a bit of stoppage time, of course, there's been a few stoppages, as we've just seen with Bednarek going off there. Theo Walcott had some treatment earlier as well. There's been 1 or 2 other. Fabio Vieira went down, didn't he, before? Anyway, it's a goal kick to Southampton. And they will be delighted with this first half, I'm sure. Their young manager looks very cool in his grey coat. I'm sure he'll be delighted with how his team have approached this game tonight, but there's still a long way to go. And Arsenal will still be, I'm sure, favourites to still turn this around and win the game. But we've still got work to do here. Rob Holding there with that header forward, looking for Gabriel Jesus, but a simple header there by the substitute, Kaleta Carr. And it is a throw to Arsenal over on the far side. And we are into the last 90 seconds of normal time at the end of this first half. Southampton in possession now. Coming forward, they've looked good. Theo Walcott over on that far side. Good first half from Theo Walcott. He's done well there. Gets away from Thomas Partey. Theo Walcott. He's running down a little bit of a blind alley, but he has won a throw there for his team. It's best I've seen Theo Walcott play for quite some time, I have to say. He seemed to lose his way a bit at Everton, didn't he? And he's not really been great for Southampton. But under their new manager, he's been in the team regular, and you can see what difference it's made. This is the best I've seen him play since he left Arsenal, potentially, actually, this game, this first half. He's been good. Anyway, Walker-Peters with this throw for Southampton in line with the Arsenal penalty over on that far side. Southampton's right. Throws it back to Kaleta Carr, and he plays the ball to Marta Ketchup, the defender who's playing well tonight. Plays the ball back to goalkeeper Bazumo. Got a little bit of time. The Irish goalkeeper plays the ball long, but a good header there from Gabriel. But there's no Arsenal player on the end of that, and it is going to be Kaleta Carr plays it back again to the goalkeeper. We're into the final 30 seconds of normal time at the end of this first half, but it's going to be 4 or 5 minutes of stoppage time, you imagine. And there's a foul there by Thomas Partey. In fact, the referee didn't give it as a foul. He's allowed play to go on. Bukayo Saka plays the ball at his near side to Martin Odegaard. Southampton not very happy about that challenge there on Alcaraz, who went down under Thomas Partey's tackle there, but the referee said no foul. It wasn't a great ball forward, so there's a little bit of space over on that far side again for Gabriel Martinelli. He's got to the byline. Can he pull it back? Again, it's good defending from Southampton, but the ball's gone behind. It's going to be a corner to Arsenal. And Martinelli has been the most likely, hasn't he, in this whole of his first half. There's 7 minutes of stoppage time at the end of the first half. Well, you don't often get 7 minutes, do you, in the first half, certainly. But there is going to be today. We said there were some stoppages, and there has been 7 minutes still to play then. So we've got time to get this equaliser before half-time. Corner was played short again. Fabio Vieira plays it back out to Martin Odegaard over on that far side. Martinelli pulls it back towards the edge of the box. Now Martin Odegaard with a shot blocked again by Southampton. Cross comes in from Fabio Vieira. Gabriel's header over the top. And another chance for Arsenal goes begging as we approach the second minute of stoppage time. Is going to be 7, as we said. Great cross that was from Vieira, actually. Gabriel rose highest but couldn't keep the header down. There was a crowded penalty. They got above Rob Holding, but the header was high over the bar. And another chance goes begging for Arsenal. We haven't had a lot of clear. In fact, it was Rob Holding's header, I think. Came off his headband, I think it must have done. The Southampton fans in good voice at the clock end now and trying to cheer their team on to what would be an important 3 points for them, wouldn't it? But anyway, and nearly a weak back pass actually from Gabriel. Ramsdale under pressure, hoofed the ball out for a throw to Southampton. Arsenal will be a little bit sloppy at times defensively tonight, you have to say. And having said all of that, Rob Holding, who's maybe had the most criticism, has probably been the one who's made the least mistakes. Gabriel's been very shaky. Zinchenko's been shaky. Ben White's made 1 or 2 sloppy mistakes as well at the back. Rob Holding seems to have been pretty solid. Him and his headband are doing well tonight. Anyway, Thomas Partey now plays the ball up that far side to Zinchenko. In a bit of a tight spot, though, Zinchenko, but plays it back to Gabriel. And Gabriel's clearance isn't great, though, actually. Straight to Walker-Peters, and Southampton coming forward again. And nice turn on the edge of the box. Oh, is that a foul? Referee says no. It was Thomas Partey again, just winning the ball. And now Bukayo Saka's got some space to run into on a counter-attack for Arsenal. Can Arsenal get the equaliser? That's a ball played through. Gabriel Jesus is in. The angle's very tight. He tried to squeeze it past the goalkeeper. Good save, actually, there from Bazuma. And Jesus there made a good run in. Good play again from Bukayo Saka. Saka and Martinelli have been really lively in this first half. But Arsenal are still behind. But it's a corner. We've played at 2.5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. There is going to be 7, as we said. Long way still to go in this first half. Plenty of time for Arsenal to get this equaliser. Saka with this corner on the near side. Looks like he's going to put it straight in this time. We've had a lot of short corners. Haven't really worked, have they, so far tonight? This is going to be a more traditional style of corner, you believe, by Bukayo Saka. In fact, it is towards that near post, flicked on. It's almost in. It's headed off the line at the far post. It was a George Graham style corner there, in at the near post, flicked on. Not quite sure who got the flick. It was going in, headed off the line there, and Arsenal still coming forward with Gabriel Martinelli. Good defending, actually, over on that far side. And then Walker-Peters plays the ball through. Theo Walcott's got the wrong side here. He was onside because he was in his own half. He's got no support. It was Martin Odegaard across there. Good play again from Theo Walcott, but Martin Odegaard took the ball off him. And then there's a foul there, is there, from Zinchenko. Doesn't look very happy. In fact, Zinchenko's got himself a yellow card as well for that challenge, or maybe for his reaction after it. I'm not quite sure what it was. That was quite a nasty foul from Zinchenko, actually, on Walker-Peters. He did catch him quite high. He's maybe lucky just to get a yellow. Nathan says that's not a yellow card. See, I don't know. He lifted his foot up, didn't he, as he tackled him, and he's gone in quite high. I think that's definitely a yellow card. Anyway, they're just showing that corner again, flicked on at a near post. It was Ben White, actually. It was Ben White flicked it on. It beat the goalkeeper. It was going in. But good defending, actually. It was Alcaraz, the opening goal scorer there, doing his defensive duties for his team. And Southampton now coming forward over on that far side. But Walker-Peters, I think it is offside. And it is going to be a free kick to Arsenal. We've played 4 minutes of stoppage time. So we've still got 3 minutes left of this first half. I say it is still the first half. I know you might be looking at the time and thinking, why are we still playing? But there's a lot of injuries in this first half. And Southampton have lost their defender, Jan Bednarek, to a concussion injury. But Arsenal coming forward again. Thomas Partey striding forward, tried to thread the ball through to Gabriel Jesus. Good defending, actually, again from Southampton. They've defended really well tonight in this opening first half. There's no doubt about that. But Arsenal still in possession there. Martin Odegaard flicks the ball out to the far side to Zinchenko. Plays it to Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli again. He has been a great in this first half. Plays it back to Zinchenko, gets it back again. Martinelli, he's going to have a little run at Walker Pick again, is he? No, he isn't. He goes back again to Zinchenko. Now it's into Thomas Partey. Also being forced backwards again though. Gabriel with his yellow boots makes him easy to spot. Ben White now plays up this near side to Fabio Vieira, puts that ball in. Wasn't a great ball. Southampton deal with that one. Wasn't a great clearance actually, but Southampton get away with it. And Perrault now on this near side should be able to get the ball clear. Again, now Arsenal win it back with Ben White. Now it's with Martin Ødegaard. We've played 5.5 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. Can Arsenal get level before the break? Gabriel now coming forward, plays out to that far side too. Zinchenko. Now it's with Martinelli again. Martinelli plays it back to Zinchenko, gets it back again, Martinelli. This is nice from Arsenal, but that ball wasn't too clever there from Martinelli. And suddenly Southampton again have got another breakaway. Theo Walcott, he's got Alcaraz ahead of him. Theo Walcott on a run. Is he going to have to go himself, Theo Walcott? Challenged there by Ben White, and in the end he just takes the ball backwards, keeps possession for Southampton. He could have maybe tried to thread that through to Alcaraz there, but he decided not to. And Southampton are keeping possession. It's now with Bella Ketchup. He's done well actually defensively. Now he's steaming forward. That's a good ball inside as well. The ball pulled back onto the edge of the 6-yard box. Arsenal just about cleared that one away. And Southampton again threatening another goal in this first half. It's been quite an incredible performance from them. We're now into the final minute of this first half, stoppage time. And Southampton are finishing the half on top, surprisingly. And they will be going in to the break with a lead if things stay like this. A long ball played forward there by Bella Ketchup, but that's headed back to Aaron Ramsdale by Zinchenko. And we are now into the last 20 seconds of what's been a rather long, drawn-out first half due to the stoppage time. But Southampton won't care about that. But Arsenal still got one more opportunity maybe to get level before the break. Bukayo Saka now on his near side, coming forward. Again, he's running at Perrault inside the penalty. Gets to the byline. This is what brought about the goal across to the far post. Martinelli volley again. A header from Gabriel Jesus. A follow-up blocked again. Heroic defending in that penalty from Southampton. We have played the 7 minutes of stoppage time. This will be Arsenal's last chance. The cross comes in. It finds Ben White on the volley. Again, it's a Southampton defender in the way. And then they clear the ball away. And now the half-time whistle's gone. Wow, what a frantic finish it was there to that first half. And what a frantic first half it's been overall, really. Started really badly for Arsenal. A mistake from Aaron Ramsdale inside 30 seconds. Played the ball straight to Alcaraz, who fired it in. Southampton took the lead. Things got worse for Arsenal. 15 minutes in, Theo Walcott with a great finish after a good run and pass from Alcaraz. And at that point, it was looking really bad for Arsenal. But we pulled a goal back midway through that first half. A good goal it was as well. Saka got to the byline on his near side, pulled the ball back, and Gabriel Martinelli finished with a volley to make it 2-1. There was plenty of time for Arsenal to get level before the break, but we've huffed and puffed a little bit in front of goal. We've had a lot of possession, not really created a lot of chances. Southampton defended their box really well. And at half-time, Arsenal 1, Southampton 2. We've got it all to do, haven't we? So, yeah, not what we were expecting tonight so far, but plenty of time still. Colonel says there, disgusting first-half performance. Midfield is drastically to attacking, leaves us open to counter. So, yeah, no, we are wide open to the counter-attack, absolutely. Southampton could have scored 2 more goals. Aaron Ramsdale made a good double save, didn't he, which maybe made up a little bit for his earlier mistake. And then they had another opportunity there right at the end of that first half where the pullback from the near side and Arsenal managed to scramble the ball away. But no, it wasn't a great performance from Arsenal. Disjointed at times. And yeah, we need to be much better in the second half, don't we? But I still believe we will come back and win this game. I really do. I don't think Southampton can possibly hold on for 45 minutes. But they have looked dangerous when they have a counter-attack. So who knows? Maybe they might get the third goal. You do feel the next goal is going to be decisive in this game. I feel that if Arsenal score and get level, I think we'll go on and win. If Southampton get the next goal and go 3-1 up, then that will make it really, really tough, wouldn't it? To come back from 2 goals down again. Would we be able to do it? But let's see. Not what we was expecting. We were all expecting a big victory, wasn't we? But anyway, it still could end up being a victory, but nowhere near as convincing as any of us anticipated. But we'll see what happens in the second half. But yeah. But anyway, Well, that was quite stressful, wasn't it? This is the only problem, isn't it? When you get to this point in the season, when there's so much to play for, you do kind of. It's not as enjoyable to watch the games, is it? Because the stress is too high, and it's I prefer it when things can be a little bit calmer. So next season, let's be 25 points clear, so we don't have to go through this. Terry says, get Vieira and Zinchenko off and get Trossard and Katie on. I mean, they wouldn't be bad changes, but I'll be amazed if Arteta does that. Nathan says, I agree, Colonel. There has been far too much space behind the midfield. Yeah, there has. And I would say one of the reasons for that, and people won't like it, is because Granit Xhaka's not playing. He fills them spaces well. So Vieira, and I said it was a strange choice to have picked him ahead of Jorginho. He's not as switched on defensively, is he, Fabio Vieira? It's not his job. It's not his game. But that's down to the manager for picking him in that position. So, yeah, it hasn't worked. And that would be a change I would definitely make. I would definitely get Vieira off and I would actually bring Jorginho on. I know we're losing the game. You think, well, that's a bit of a defensive substitution, but it isn't, because it would shore up that midfield, and that's how you control a game from the midfield, and that's what we haven't done well enough in that first half at times, and that's what we need to do better in the second half. And if we do, I think we'll win. So that would be my change initially, and then maybe see how the second half develops before looking at some more substitutions later on. Of course, Trossard will have to come on if we're losing. Of course he will. He's got to, hasn't he? We can't afford not to bring him on the way things are going. But anyway, let's wait and see what happens, whether or not there will be a substitution. Rajendra says, it's like our last two games. We are not as good defensively as before. Well, we're not as good defensively or attacking either, are we? We're just not. We don't look as smooth. We don't look as fluent. And we're almost relying on an individual piece of brilliance generally from Saka or Martinelli tonight, who's been brilliant, hasn't he? And that seems to be how it's working tonight. That seems to be what we're relying on, and not just tonight, in the last few games. And we're not functioning as a unit as we were. Now, is that the pressure? When you're in a title race, it's very, very difficult, isn't it? Because the pressure is so high. And I say every single team that we've got to play have got their own battles to fight. They've got their own things to battle for. So they're not just going to roll over. They're not going to, we've got pressure on us. And in a way, Southampton tonight haven't got the same amount of pressure. Yes, they need points for their relegation battle, but they don't have the same pressure as us today because they're away from home at the leaders. No one expects Southampton to get a result here tonight. If they get a draw even, 2-0 up, we know what that's like, being 2-0 up and not winning. But even if they get a draw here tonight, they'll be absolutely delighted with that. They'll be over the moon because it's a bonus point for them, isn't it? It's a point they wasn't expecting to get. So they will be delighted with that. They'll be delighted with that first half. So, and we've got to play a few teams like that this season. You have to say we really have, and let's see how we cope. We haven't coped particularly well in the last couple of weeks, and we haven't coped particularly well tonight. Nathan says Jesus has not been involved enough for me. No, he hasn't been involved hardly at all, has he? He's had the ball a few times, but he's not in dangerous areas, is he? Where he can really hurt Southampton. He had that one opportunity, that was it. Rajendra says it's like the opposition has worked out that kicking high long ball over midfield has been effective. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. I think teams have maybe figured out a little bit how to play against us as well, to a certain degree, because we're not doing anything different. We're very predictable, aren't we, in the way that we play? Very predictable. And that's maybe one of the problems that we've got as well. Steve says, Arteta has burnt out our 11 with poor subs and picking the 11. Yeah, he picks the same 11. I said that before the start of the game. It's like he doesn't trust some of his squad players enough. He just doesn't trust them. It's funny, isn't it, for me, the two players that he bought in January, Jorginho and Trossard. Jorginho was basically bought in, we all assumed, as a backup for Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka's out, he doesn't pick him. Just crazy. And Trossard, what a fantastic footballer he's been for us. Brilliant. And yet he's on the bench in this game tonight again. The two players that we brought in January. It's like, do these two players that they really need? They're both experienced players. They've played a lot of games in the Premier League. They know what it's about. They don't need time to adjust in the way that maybe Vieira does. because he's a young player, come from a different league. But anyway, Nathan says there, Jorginho has got an eye for a pass. So no, yeah, Jorginho's a great player. He's a great player, Jorginho, and to me, he's the ideal replacement for Xhaka. But anyway, he hasn't picked him, and that's the way it is. Steve says Vieira off, Trossard on. Yeah, that's an option. I would maybe look at bringing Jorginho on, because Trossard isn't going to give us that solidity in midfield, is he? That Jorginho will. Trossard will give us maybe something going forward, but then you'd have to take off one of the front three. And I think Saka and Martinelli have been our best two players. Yes, Gabriel Jesus hasn't done a lot so far, but he's on a good run of form in front of goal scoring, isn't he? So you'd be not necessarily wanting to take him off, would you? So, would Trossard be the right sub to bring on in a midfield position? I would say probably not. That's why I would bring Jorginho on personally. But, I'm not Arteta. I don't get paid all the millions of pounds he gets paid to make these decisions. So he's the one who's got to do it. And let's hope that whatever decisions he makes proves to be right, and we get the result. Let's hope that's going to be the case. But yeah, we certainly going to have to do better than this in the second half if we're going to find a way back into this game and find a way to get the 3 points, which you have to say, if we don't win this game, it's over, isn't it? The title's over, let's be honest. You could look at it and say, well, we're 5 points clear. Man City have got 2 games in hand. We've got to go to the Etihad on this poor run of form. If you remember, we lost our form, didn't we, when just before we played Man City at the Emirates earlier in the season. We'd lost to Everton, drew with Brentford. We came in there not in great form. We'd lost to Man City in a couple of weeks before. And they beat us quite comfortably. So we could end up going to Man City again on a back of a poor run of results. It's happening again, isn't it? So, yeah, not ideal, but we've still got 45 minutes to turn this around. Terry says, I thought Arteta brought Jorginho to cut the oranges at half-time if then he couldn't do it. Well, he brought him, I think, as a backup for Xhaka, and yet he hasn't used him for that very reason. Anyway, Steve says, can Nelson play in the centre? Not really. I wouldn't put Nelson in the centre, no. Jorginho's the one to bring on. I know people will say, well, he's more of a defensive player. And it's we're losing. We want to bring on attacking players, but you've got to keep the shape and structure of your team right, haven't you? You can't just throw loads of attacking players on because you'll end up conceding more goals. So you've got to keep the structure right, haven't you? And I think that makes more sense to me to bring Jorginho on and just get that, as we've mentioned, get that grip in midfield. But will Arteta do it? Will he do it at half time? I'll be surprised. Very surprised if he does. I've got to be honest. Don't think that's going to happen. But we'll see. We'll find out very shortly because the teams will be back out for the second half soon. So we'll see exactly what Arteta's decisions are in terms of if he makes any changes at all at half time. He's not one to, there's some managers that we've seen that make what we like to call panic subs at half time when you're losing, throw on 2 or 3 players at half time like Mourinho used to do. Arteta's not that type of manager, is he? And I don't expect him to do that tonight either. But we shall see. Rajendra says, who's our player with the yellow card? I think we've got 2. Zinchenko's got one. Did Partey get one? I can't remember if Partey got one as well. Let me just check. I know Zinchenko definitely got one. Let's have a look. Oh, no, it was just Zinchenko. It was just Zinchenko, yeah. And Walker Peters, Perro, and Alcaraz have all got a yellow card for Southampton. So, yeah, it was just Zinchenko, yeah. Rajendra says Shevchenko, anyone isn't that anyone? I thought it was. I thought we had another one, but we didn't. It's just him. So there you go. Steve says if we lose, I can't wait for Arteta stories. Well, I don't know about stories. What Arteta does, some people would say does well, other people would say doesn't do well, is literally just says, I take full responsibility, doesn't he? But anyway, we'll see. No, we haven't lost yet. It's only half time. There's plenty of time to come back. We've sort of got momentum with us, the fact that we scored the last goal in the game. So we can take that into the second half. But I don't think we'll lose. I've got to be honest, I really don't. Rajendra says earlier at the start. No, it's only Zinchenko. I just checked. He's the only one that's been booked. Nathan says, I may be completely wrong, but he seems to like having two left-footed players in midfield. And I'm not sure if that has anything to do with it. If so, why sign him in the first week? Well, yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, last time Xhaka missed a game, Jorginho played. And I thought Jorginho played well. So I can't understand why that decision wasn't made tonight. But anyway, Rajendra says there, City to play next. So 2 subs. Well, we looking at the situation in this game, looking at the bench, Jorginho, I think, should come on. And then looking at trying to get goals, which is what we need to get some goals. You've got Trossard, you've got Eddie, Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, 4 attacking players who can score goals. So the options are there, aren't they? And Jorginho to short at the midfield. So there's your substitutes there, isn't it? At what time we do them, we shall see. But anyway, let's see what happens in this second half, which is going to be getting underway very, very shortly. There was a big chunk of stoppage time at the end of the first half, 7 minutes. That's why we're running a bit later than anticipated. Don't forget, of course, Friday nights usually is the Arsenal Women's Weekly, as you know. Of course, tonight, due to Sky and the Premier League decided to play a game on a Friday night, of course, we've had to change our plans. Now, due to the fact that not everybody from the panel is available before the game against Wolfsburg on Sunday, we're going to do a slightly different show tomorrow evening. I'm going to be presenting it. We're going to have some video with the guys and get their views on the videos for all the different stuff that's been going on, the Manchester United defeat, Leah's injury, and of course the Wolfsburg semi-final, which is coming up on Sunday, another game that we'll be featuring here on the channel as well. So that's going to be tomorrow night. I don't know exactly what time yet, so I'm doing stuff tomorrow. I've got to put the videos together. It'll probably be about 7:30, 8 o'clock, something like that. 7:30 we'll probably say. We'll get that one up on the channel for you as well. So join us for that. And of course, Sunday, it's the big one. Wolfsburg, Frauen against Arsenal women, first leg of the Champions League semi-final. Arsenal, of course, with a lot of injury problems at this moment in time. Really going to be tough, but let's go over there and get a result that we can bring back to the Emirates next Bank Holiday Monday. We'll be there at the Emirates. All of us will be there. Harry's there. Andreas is there. Amar's there. Matt's there. We'll all be there. Paula's there. It's going to be great. We're all going to meet up and have fun. And hopefully Arsenal can get the result and get to the final. But that's all in the future. Terry says, didn't Jorginho last play well in the Euros? No, he played well for us a few times. Didn't you watch those 3 or 4 games he had when he was playing? He was brilliant. Steve says, is Fordy okay to play? We're not sure. All Jonas said was that the Wednesday night game had come too soon. So, yeah, hopefully Fordy can play. She wasn't even on the bench at Man U, but let's hope so. Be good if she's back. We need her. We need something now from the men's team because they've just come back out onto the pitch. Martinelli has been the best player in that first half for Arsenal. Nathan says, this is an odd sub by Southampton. Alcaraz must be injured. He got booked as well, didn't he? He did get booked in that first half. And it is Liancho. Of course, a defender coming on, though. An extra defender with Bednarak going off. Don't forget, Southampton have got an extra substitution now as well, haven't they? And Liancho, of course, did kick the shit out of us at Southampton, didn't he? When we played them down there. So maybe that's a slight tactical change as well. And I'll tell you, they're going 5 at the back. He looks like he's realised that Southampton are doing that. Terry says, come on, Arsenal, indeed. And we've got Funny Roman there with you, which is good. Hello, how you doing? Anyway, good to see you. I hope you're well. Anyway, we're getting ready to start the second half. Arsenal are going to be attacking the goal to our left, the North Bank. The ball goes back to Aaron Ramsdale. And there we go. Come on, indeed. Come on. Let's get ourselves back in this game. Let's get ourselves back in the groove. And let's get these 3 points somehow. And move away and back to 7 points clear at the top. And still in our hands, then it'll be, won't it? That's the thing. Anyway, Zinchenko. Arsenal didn't make any subs at half time, but Southampton made that one. Alcaraz off. and Liancho on for them. And Arsenal in possession over on that far side. Ben White plays the ball to Bukayo Saka. There's still a lot of empty seats over there at the Emirates. People would rather get a drink than watch the game, which seems odd, doesn't it? Anyway, there you go. That ball played over the top by Ben White, looking to get the run in there of Bukayo Saka. But again, it's good defending by Southampton. And again, it is a Bella catch-up with the defending there. He's done well, the German defender. But Arsenal trying to come forward down that far side, which has gone out for a throw. We got Fuddy Roman is there. What's up? How you doing? Yeah, we're good, my friend. Hope you're well. Come on, Arsenal, indeed. Come on, Arsenal. Let's see what we can do. We've only lost once when we've been losing at half time in the league this season. Does anyone remember what game that was? I think you all do. There's only been 3 defeats, so it's not difficult. Anyway, we are coming forward now with Zinchenko. It was the Man United game, just in case you didn't know. We were 1-0 down at half time in that game. So every time we've scored in the first half and been behind, we've actually not lost. We've won those 3 games. Of course, Bournemouth was the big one, wasn't it? What other games were we losing at half time? I know we were. I don't think that was a half time, was it? Oh no, West Ham. We're losing half time to West Ham, wasn't we? 1-0, 1-3-1. Yeah, coming forward now. Jesus, cross, it's deflected, and Bazuma there's got the ball, and nice and comfortable catch in the end for the Southampton goalkeeper, who's not really been tested that much tonight, has he? We've not had too many shots on goal, which is a little bit disappointing. But Southampton have had a blue wall in front of their goalkeeper to keep us out, and so far for them it's worked. But we need to do a bit better in that final third, don't we? Anyway, Southampton coming forward now, looking to try and get Theo Walcott in, but that ball's run through to Aaron Ramsdale. Plays it out to Thomas Partey. Arsenal haven't really settled yet at the start of this second half, you have to say. Anyway, Gabriel now finds Zinchenko on this near side. We've played 47.5 minutes, still loads and loads of time. Steve says there, we played so good v Crystal Palace and Fulham with Trossard starting. I know we did. Trossard's the man, but for some reason he's not in favour at the minute, is he, from starting these games? So anyway, let's see what happens in this second half. Arsenal coming forward now with the 11 that started the game still. The ball played back to Ben White. Now he finds Bukayo Saka on that far side. Arsenal's right. Bukayo Saka finds Ben White again. Now it's up the line to Martin Ødegaard. Cuts in, finds Bukayo Saka again. There's 3 defenders in front. All the Southampton defender slips to Ben White. Got a little bit of space for a cross. Not a great cross. Wasn't particularly convincing defending from Southampton, but they've managed to get it away now. Not very far though. Gabriel steps in, plays the ball to Zinchenko up this near side. Zinchenko plays the ball back square again to Thomas Partey. Plays out to that far side. Nice little take there from Ben White. A few players in orange boots for Arsenal actually. Now Bukayo Saka running at Perro. Plays the ball back to the edge of the box to Martin Ødegaard. Chips into that left foot. Cleared away by Coletta Carr. Theo Walcott's flick away, and suddenly Southampton have got an opportunity for a counter-attack. But that ball wasn't too good actually, and Armstrong isn't going to get there. And it's cleared away. Back to Aaron Ramsdale. The crowd now trying to lift the team. We've played 49 minutes, and it's been 49 minutes of mainly, certainly 4. Oh, that's a poor ball from Zinchenko, and it's back with Theo Walcott. Zinchenko's trying to win it back, but Theo Walcott kept possession, but he couldn't thread the ball through there to Armstrong. Good defending actually there from Gabriel. Anyway, now it's Bukayo Saka over on that far side again, going past Perro, finds Martin Ødegaard. James Ward-Prowse steps in, and Southampton have won possession again. Oh, that's good play in midfield there actually by Lavia. Plays the ball up this near side. It is Kyle Walker-Peters steaming forward for Southampton. There was 2 players in the box there. He could have crossed it. He didn't. Anyway, it's back to James Ward-Prowse now. He may well cross it. You know what his deliveries are like. Southampton just seem quite happy to keep possession and not really try to put the ball into the box. But that ball's played up this near side to Theo Walcott, but he's not going to keep that in. He's going to be a goal kick to Arsenal. Maybe that's why they don't try to get the ball into the box very often, because it doesn't tend to work for them. Alcaraz there sitting on the bench. Must be quite disappointing to have gone off, unless he is injured, because he did score very early in that game and got an assist as well. So you do imagine it must be an injury. Or is it a tactical thing by the manager? Who knows? If it pays off and they win, I'm sure he'll be lauded for the decision. But it does seem a bit of a strain. Zinchenko now coming forward, plays the ball in towards the penalty. It's flicked on. Is it going to go out for a corner? No, it isn't, because Arsenal managed to clear the ball away. Southampton managed to clear the ball away over on that far side. It's now with Ben White. Finds Martin Odegaard, cuts in from that far side, left-footed ball into the penalty. It's rolled through into the arms of the goalkeeper. Jesus has gone down under a... Well, he was running onto the ball there. Not quite sure what happened. He's gone down and he got back up again. The referee's not really interested in that. Let's have a look what happened there. Well, it was... Jesus ran into him a little bit, didn't he? Anyway, goal kick from... clearance there from the goalkeeper, but Zinchenko's header. Not that great a header, actually, and Southampton pick it up with James Ward-Prowse coming forward against Southampton up this near side. Theo Walcott, a little bit of space. He's had a really good game, Theo Walcott, actually, you have to say. Fair play to him. Anyway, Arsenal now with Fabio Vieira, who's just been fouled by James Ward-Prowse, who felt there was a foul earlier for Southampton that wasn't given. Terry says, how's that not a penalty? Well, it's not a penalty because it wasn't a foul, quite honestly. Gaming 203 says predictions. Well, I think we'll win 3-2, but anyway, let's see. At the moment, we need to get it back to 2-2 first, and we haven't really looked like doing that since half time. We've played 51.5 minutes. Still plenty of time, though, of course, on the clock, but the longer it stays at 2-1, the more stressful it's going to get for everybody. Anyway, it's now with Ben White, finds Thomas Partey. It's very intricate inside that box. Martin Odegaard's gone down there inside the box. Again, the referee wasn't interested in that. And it was Elianusi, I think, with the challenge. He seemed to go down quite easily again. Didn't he, Odegaard? Anyway, Saka again over on that far side. Arsenal trying to build up a bit of a header steam. Martin Odegaard again on the edge of the box. Tried to thread it through to Saka. And Southampton again deal with it. And keep the ball over on that far side, but it's won back by Ben White, charging into the box, finds Saka again. It's very tight in there, and Southampton clear it away. They're just keeping everybody back behind the ball, Southampton, making it really, really difficult. Terry says, as Arteta told them not to shoot. Well, I don't know what he's told them, but anyway, cross comes in now from Ben White, over hit, and Walker-Peters heads out. We didn't need to, actually. It's fell to Martinelli. It's on the edge of the box. Martinelli puts it back into the box, headed clear again by... I think that was the Liencho, the substitute. But Southampton now really struggling to keep Arsenal at bay. Oh, but that was a poor ball that time from Martinelli. It's gone behind for a goal kick. Problem is, though, with shooting, there's a whole wall of defenders in front of us, isn't there? In front of the penalty. It makes it really, really hard. Let's have a look at this again. They're showing whether that was a penalty on Martin Odegaard. No, he hasn't touched him, has he? Well, he sort of did a little bit, but Martin Odegaard was already going down there. Anyway, 53 minutes on the clock. It's a goal kick to Southampton. It is still Arsenal 1, Southampton 0. And Arsenal now really need something soon, you feel. Anyway, that long goal kick from Bazzuno's headed clear again by Gabriel. And Ward-Prowse picks the ball up though for Southampton. Walker-Peters plays it into midfield. I say Southampton have played some nice stuff at times, but they're under pressure now again. And Arsenal coming forward with Ben White over on that far side. Can Arsenal find this equaliser? That's a long ball over the top for Bukayo Saka. Can he get across? And he sort of slips as he goes to cross it. And in the end, Southampton are able to deal with that. Good play actually again from Southampton defensively. Now it's with James Ward-Prowse, who's done a good job sitting in front of that defence for Southampton tonight. And they're looking to try to get forward over on that far side. Now James Ward-Prowse is off after that one, but the ball's gone back to Aaron Ramsdale. His mistake in the very first few seconds of the game put Arsenal on the back foot from the start, but things have turned since then, and Arsenal now coming forward again over on that far side. Bukayo Saka running at this Southampton defence again, cuts inside, puts the ball to the far post. Oh, good header there from Liancho, just got enough on that. Fabio Vieira was coming at the far post. It is a corner to Arsenal. Vieira there trying to lift the crowd as well. That cross then. Oh, Vieira thought he'd scored, but Liancho just got a touch on that, and it's a corner to Arsenal. Can we get the goal? Terry saying they get Trossard on. Well, yeah, maybe. We've played 55 minutes. The ball's played back now to Vieira, finds Martinelli. Can he get a better ball in this time? Plays it square, sets to the edge of the box to Zinchenko. Threads it into the penalty to Vieira. Can he get a shot away? Can he chips it into the box? Not the greatest ball, it has to be said. And Bazzuno can easily grab that, and it's going to be Arteta's not very happy with it about what's something. I'm not quite sure what he's unhappy about. Then Vieira's chip wasn't a great chip into the box actually. He looks a bit frustrated, Arteta, and Arteta's now trying to lift the crowd as well. Anyway, the goalkeeper Bazuna goes long up this near side. Zinchenko lets it go out. It's going to be a throw to Arsenal. 56 minutes coming up to on the clock. And Trossard is coming on. Trossard is coming on, and it is going to be Vieira coming off. Arsenal got going for it a little bit. So Vieira's going off. He didn't do bad today, Vieira, but he's not quite the player we need him to be yet, is he? But Trossard certainly is. Is Trossard going to be the game maker, the game changer, for Arsenal tonight? Let's see. Terry says, yes, at last, indeed. Terry says, now I fancy 5 or 6-2 now. Well, let's get to 2-2 first before we start getting too far ahead of ourselves. But Trossard is now on, and that's an exciting move, an exciting substitution for Arsenal. It's what we've been waiting for. And let's see if he can be the difference maker in this game. That's what he was bought for. He was bought to be a difference maker in games like this, wasn't he? So let's see if he's able to do it. He's done it before already for us this season. Since we bought him, we need a big 35 minutes or so from him in this game. Southampton are in possession over on that far side, looking to get a third goal, which may well seal our fate tonight, maybe. Anyway, we'll see. But we forced them back, actually. Good defending that was from Ben White. And then he's fouled by Elyounoussi. Takes a free kick quickly into Thomas Partey. Now it's with Gabriel Jesus, who's very deep. Plays the ball to this near side to Zinchenko. Arteta wanted him to pass to Martinelli, but he goes the other way instead to Thomas Partey. Southampton, there seems to be 50 blue shirts in front of us, in front of the goal. And that's been a problem since the start of the second half, really. He's trying to break that down. But this is what we're going to have to do. If we want to win the league, we're going to have to win these sort of games against these sort of teams that are going to come to the Emirates and defend. Martinelli looking to get the ball into the box, plays it back to Zinchenko. Good cross towards the far post, looking for Saka. Good defending again, though, from Southampton. Elyounoussi completes the clearance, but Rob Holding. It's all one-way traffic in this second half, as we expected it to be, but still not really any clear-cut chances for Arsenal. Nathan says they will do well to maintain this scoreline. It feels like there's a goal coming. It does. And Steve says, don't count your chickens yet, Terry. No, indeed, don't count your chickens yet. But it does feel as though there's a moment coming in this game very soon. We're coming up towards the hour mark. And Arsenal need something. And they need something quite soon, you feel. Anyway, Zinchenko now plays it into Trossard. Good tackle on him, actually. Martin Odegaard manages to keep possession, though. Plays it out to Saka over on that far side. Bukayo Saka plays it back to Ben White into Martin Odegaard. Closed down quickly. It's going to fall to Saka inside the box. Bukayo Saka tries to thread it across. It's going to fall to Jesus. No, it isn't, because the goalkeeper's there, Basuno. And I'm not quite sure what... it was a bit of a lucky break, actually, to Bukayo Saka, but he almost made the most of it. Is actually came off the defender, and Jesus was in there to try to get on the end of it. And the goalkeeper got there first, and Jesus is doing a countdown. I don't think that's even a thing anymore, is it? I don't think goalkeepers have 10 seconds to get rid of the ball anymore. I think that's been scrapped, hasn't it? Anyway, that ball played through from Thomas Partey. He's going to run all the way through to the goalkeeper. This time he doesn't pick it up straight away, and he waits. Bazuma maybe having a bit of fun there with Gabriel Jesus, who is again wanting the goalkeeper to get a move on. And he goes long this time up that far side. He's flicked on, and suddenly Southampton have got an opportunity, have they? No, they haven't, because good covering there from Rob Holding. I say Rob Holding's had a decent game again tonight, actually. Well played, Rob Holding. He was a bit shaky against West Ham, but you've had a decent game tonight. Not that Southampton have put us under a massive amount of pressure, but he's done what he's had to do pretty well. So well done, Rob Holding. Anyway, Zinchenko now in possession for Arsenal. We are coming up to the hour mark. It's 59.5 minutes played. And Arsenal trying to find a way through this light blue wall of defenders that are in front of the Southampton penalty area. And it is a backs to the wall defensive performances from the Premier League's bottom side. It is, of course, the top against the bottom tonight, and it's not going the way that many would have predicted so far. Anyway, Bukayo Saka over on that far side plays the ball back again to Ben White. Plays it square to Zinchenko, who's very central now. Tries to thread the ball through to the edge of the box to Jesus. Tries to turn away from Liancho. Those two know each other very well, of course, the two Brazilians. But it was Liancho there. Wasn't falling for that little trick there from Jesus. Got the ball clear. But it's coming straight back all the time. And Jesus now has got a little bit of space. Tries to thread the ball through to Trossard, but he couldn't get that ball under control. And Bazumo lets it run out for a goal kick. It was fired at him there, Trossard. Wasn't much he could really do with that ball. And it has gone behind for a goal kick. And the referee is telling the goalkeeper to get a move on. But, you know, they never do they? Until they're losing. Anyway, it's a goal kick, which Bakuno is going to take. Of course, he will probably end up getting booked eventually for time wasting, won't he? You'd imagine. But anyway, he hasn't so far. Trossard there tries to pick the ball up, but loses possession. But Arsenal do pick it back up again. Ben White finds Bukayo Saka over on that far side, and he's won a throw. Bukayo Saka. He's had a decent game tonight, looking back towards his best, following that disappointing game, of course, against West Ham at the weekend. Penalty miss, and you can see he visibly shrunk, didn't he, after that for the rest of that game. Anyway, this ball's going to come through on his near side to Gabriel Martinelli. Picks it up. Can he get across in? Goes past Kyle Walker-Peters, gets to the byline. It looked like it might have gone out, actually. In fact, it has gone out. The linesman's flagged. Bukayo Saka hit the post, but the ball was already out. Good play it was, though, by Martinelli, getting past Kyle Walker-Peters. He couldn't quite keep the ball in. He just overran it slightly there, that extra touch. So it was miles out, actually. It was miles behind. And then Bukayo Saka took the ball down well and shot well, hit the post, but the ball was already out. It did look as though it was out. Terry says, anyone got any nails I can borrow to buy? I've run out. Yeah, it is getting to that point, isn't it? Maybe this game is for those old enough to remember in 1989, this maybe is a Derby game. If anyone remembers that, when we lost 2-1 to Derby at home very late in that season, it looked as though we'd blown it, but we bounced back and beat Liverpool away, didn't we? And City away is our next game. So who knows? Maybe we can get a bit of history repeating itself. But the way things are going, if it stays like this, we're going to have to win at City. Draw won't be even probably be good enough. Steve says, ran out to Terry. I'll run out of Liverpool. Yeah, I think, the last couple of games have been a bit like that, haven't they? Anyway, another Southampton player's gone down injured, and they're obviously in no rush to get the game going. They're trying to break up Arsenal's play, and you can't blame them for that. You know, we would be doing the same if roles were reversed, but it doesn't help, does it? It doesn't help the flow of the game, and it certainly doesn't help us. We're trying to build up some rhythm to get this goal, and it's not helping, is it, when there's so many stoppages in play? But anyway, let's see what happens. Bednarak there on the bench. Look a little bit happier now. He's maybe calmed down following that substitution. And he's having a little chat there to two of the defenders there. Some words of advice for them from a defender who, of course, was having a good game until he went off there, wasn't he? Anyway, good to see him back happy again and being involved with the team there in that little huddle that they were having. It is going to be a throw to Southampton, which Kyle Walker-Peters is going to take when we do get back up and running again, which will be very soon. The injury there was to, is it Lavia? Anyway, Arteta there and Albert in conversation. That throw forward up this near side comes back to Kyle Walker-Peters now. Come back to Liancho. Surely that was a foul on him there by Trossard. It was. He's laughing. In fact, it was Gabriel Jesus, the two Brazilians there, having a little moment there. Here's a free kick though to Southampton. Terry says ESR warming up. Well, he can warm up, but he's not coming on, is he? Clearly. James Ward-Prowse is going to take this free kick. Ball played back. Ward-Prowse again. Back to Liancho on halfway. It's a good ball up the line, actually. It's a really good ball. Kyle Walker-Peters just about keeps it in. Finds Theo Walcott again. Oh, he slipped over there. Theo Walcott tried to turn away, and Southampton lose possession, but they've won it back again. He's done well there, Theo Walcott, this time. Kyle Walker-Peters down that far side, tries to get a cross in. It's deflected behind by Thomas Pye, it's a corner. 65 minutes played, and it is a corner. There's a few players warming up there for Arsenal. Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, ESR doing a few stretches. Are we going to see some more substitutions for Arsenal? We do need a couple of goals there. It's a corner to Southampton at the moment on this near side. James Ward-Prowse is going to take it. Lianchu trying to stir up the crowd. He looks very Brazilian, doesn't he, with his bleach blonde hair. Anyway, this corner comes in from Ward-Prowse. Header flicked on at the far post. Oh, it's a goal. Southampton have got a goal. It is Kaletakar, sorry, with the goal. This is an absolute disaster for Arsenal. We've fallen there to one of those near post corners that we made famous back in the day. A near post corner there flicked on, and a simple far post header from Kaletakar for Southampton. Absolute disaster this for Arsenal. Nathan says awful defending. Indeed, it was awful defending. All 3 goals tonight have been terrible, and it is Kaletakar with the goal. Let's see this again. It was James Ward-Prowse's corner. It was flicked on, and Zinchenko just left his man. He is crap. I don't think anyone says Zinchenko is an absolute liability. No, he's not offside. Someone said offside. I think Ben White at the near post was playing him on. And it is a goal. And it is 3-1. And Arsenal have now got another mountain to climb. We got one back at 2-0. Are we going to be able to do it again? Arteta looks frustrated, looks to the heavens, but I don't think the heavens are going to save you. Phil says nightmare indeed. It is a nightmare. Zinchenko again getting him off. I agree. Steve says game over and title. Yeah, well, it is if it stays like this. 100% it's over. And Arsenal now look as though we're starting to feel a bit sorry for ourselves. There's still 23 minutes to play. Steve says useless. Steve says have faith, Terry is low. Nathan says he has got to bury that. Oh, there must be another chance we've missed. Bring on 2024. Terry says 6-3, don't panic. Well, the Southampton fans are certainly enjoying themselves, and they are looking to come forward again. A long ball play forward. Gabriel wins that header. Zinchenko plays it in to Thomas Partey. They're just showing the league table. We are still 4 points clear, guys, but Man City do have 2 games in hand, and we've got to go there on Wednesday night on the back of a really poor run of form, unless we can turn this around. Now it is Gabriel Martinelli again having a run at that Southampton defence, gets to the edge of the penalty, dinks the ball across. Oh, it's coming to Jesus. Oh, he's put it over from 5 yards. That was a big chance to put Arsenal right back into this game. Rajendra says there, Jesus just missed. Ben says there, if Arsenal plays like this against Man City, we are stuffed. Well, yeah, of course we are. If we play like we played in the last 3 games, we're stuffed against Man City, let's be honest. And even if we play better than we've played in the last 3 games, we'll still probably get stuffed by Man City. But anyway, Jesus then just missed that chance. Good opportunity that was. Lovely ball again from Martinelli. He's been our best player, Martinelli, tonight. It looks like it is going to be in vain, though, as Arsenal now, and that scoreline is correct there. You're not seeing things. It is 3-1 to Southampton. They've just scored the 3rd goal. It was Deju Kaletakar with that 3rd goal, and Southampton are currently, as things stand, off the bottom, and they'll be just a point from safety, and closing in on Leeds, who are in 16th place. Anyway, Southampton preparing 2 more substitutions, actually. Steve said 7-1 v City. We are cooked well. I don't know about 7-1. We've had a few bad defeats over the years, haven't we? But maybe this is a time for us to turn it on and get the win. Who knows? Colonel says there, come on, Eddie. Yeah, Eddie's going to be the saviour for this game. He's going to score a hat-trick in the last 20 minutes and we're going to win 4-3. Martinelli, though, who's looked the most dangerous player on this pitch for Arsenal tonight, plays the ball back to Rob Holding. Plays the ball out to that far side to Bukayo Saka. Now it's back again with Ben White finds Gabriel striding forward, the Brazilian, up this near side for Zinchenko, who needs to learn how to defend. He's not too bad going forward anyway. It is now with Martinelli, plays it back to Thomas Partey, turns, tries to play it in to Martin Odegaard, plays it back to Rob Holding. Now it's with Ben White up the line to Bukayo Saka over on that far side. This has been a tale of this second half. Lots and lots of Arsenal passes, very little penetration. Suddenly Saka knows in. Is he? No, he's not. The referee's given a foul against Ben White, and Bella Ketchup as rolling around as though he's been squashed. It looked as though Arsenal were going to be in there, actually. I mean, Ben White did catch the back of his leg, to be fair. Ben says, have you heard about Leah Williamson? Yes, mate, yeah. It is a ACL. Very, very bad news for England and for Arsenal as well. Terry says there, passes over time. Process over time for Arteta to go whilst we still have time to get a top manager that knows what he's doing. Well, we'll see. Steve says, great name, Ben. It is a great name Ben's got, yeah. Rajendra says, ACL again. Yeah, it is an ACL again. Very, very sad. And we wish, obviously, Leah Williamson all the best. Terry says, there's Zinchenko off 90 minutes too late in my book. Well, yeah, he shouldn't even be starting games, in my opinion, but there you go. Anyway, Eddie's come on now. Come on, Eddie. Eddie the saviour. Let's do some great stuff, Eddie. And Zinchenko has gone off. And it is 71 minutes too late in this game. And there we go. Colonel says there, Southampton fans doing the Poznan. Hope they get relegated. Are they doing the Poznan, are they? Well, very, very strange behaviour from the Southampton fans. You'd think they'd want to watch this game as much as possible, wouldn't you? When it'd only be their second ever win away at Arsenal in the league. It'd be their first one in the Premier League. They won once in the old First Division as well. I say 1987. But they're heading with 18 minutes to play. They are heading for not only a first ever Premier League victory at Arsenal, but also for a very important 3 points for their battle against relegation. Which this could be a springboard for them to go on a run to safety, couldn't it? And they've certainly looked a good side at times tonight, Southampton. And if this is the side of things to come, you have to say their new manager's doing a good job there, isn't he? Even though they've been struggling for wins, of course, and are bottom of the league. Steve says there, no use bragging at Southampton. We are crap. Well, we're not crap. We're just not playing particularly well at the moment, are we? Terry says, no wonder Saka and Saliba haven't signed a new contract. Well, that's interesting, isn't it? We will see what happens with all of that, but let's worry about these last few minutes yet. Ben says, I think Nelson should come on and score extra time winner. Well, yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but to get an extra time winner, we'll need to score 2 goals first, won't we? Which at this moment in time, you have to say, doesn't look particularly likely, does it? And yeah, there's the Southampton fans and their Poznan. William Saliba there on the bench in a yellow jacket, looking rather sorry for himself. What's Kieran Tierney thinking there as well? Zinchenko's gone off and he's not come on. He played the last game, didn't he? And straight on the bench again when Zinchenko's fit. Anyway, Arsenal do have a free kick, which we're going to take in a very short time. Steve says, I thought they both. So I don't think it's been officially announced, has it? I mean, I'm not sure if they have or not. It certainly hasn't been announced yet, if they have. But anyway, let's see what happens in this game first. There's still 14 and a half minutes to play. Saka now trying to get clear down that far side. But again, it's good defending from Southampton, and they have defended well. You have to give them credit for that as well. But we just haven't been good enough when it's mattered in that final third tonight. Vajendra says, seems like you're not happy with the fact we have given City a ride for the championship. Well, no, because coming second is for losers. I'm sorry, but in the position that we've been in, we're not here. We've never been here. We're Arsenal. We're not here to give anyone a ride to make it hard for teams. We're here to win stuff. We are here to win trophies. That's what we're about. That's what we are as Arsenal Football Club. And if none of these players or if none of the fans want to want to think that and they are quite happy with us not winning things, then to me that's not acceptable for Arsenal. You know, no one expected us to be in this position to challenge for the title. I totally agree with you. But the fact is that we are. We got ourselves into that position, and we've got to be able to take advantage of that because we're Arsenal. That's what we do. Anyway, Theo Walcott's going off. You have to say he played well tonight. Took his goal well, and it's going to be Kamaluddin Sulemani coming on for Southampton, and they're making another substitution as well. It's going to be Adam Armstrong's going off, and it's Paul Onakochu's coming on. He's a big lad, isn't he? The substitute there for Southampton. They've got some height in their squad, haven't they, Southampton? They must have the tallest squad in the league. They've got players over 6'7", 3 or 4 of them. Maybe they have got the tallest squad in the league, but he's a big lad. This Paul Onakochu just come on, actually, really big lad. Mark says there, do managers think about Real Madrid offers for a job, money, or is it mental? Well, money talks. Money talks. But James says, who got us there? Well, it's no good getting you there if you're not going to finish it off, is it? It's, you know, to be honest with you, if we finish second, it's no different to finishing third or fourth, really, is it? We haven't won a trophy. We're in the Champions League, and it makes not much difference, does it? And, you know, how many... Do you remember those couple of years when Tottenham, pushed for the title and ended up not winning it? And, you know, we were laughing at them, saying, oh, you know, that's all they can do. They can just put the pressure on, we said, didn't we? And we were all laughing about it. And stuff like that. And now, you know, we're supposed to now accept that coming second when we led the table by 8 points at one point is okay because we gave it a go. No, I'm sorry. Arsenal don't give it a go. Arsenal win things, or let's not bother. That's the way I look at it. And we've bottled this title. We bottled last season. We bottled the season before, and there's one link to all of that. Anyway, the ball's now out to that far side, Ben White. If Arsenal can get a goal back now, you never know. We might scramble a draw against the bottom of the league team. Martinelli inside the penalty area. Pulls it back. The shot comes in from Saka. It's blocked. Again, there's 4 or 5 Southampton defenders in front of that 6-yard line. And they block the ball. Colonel says, we all want to win leagues. We've shown improvement, but I still think Arteta is part of the problem. He's not part of the problem. He is the problem. You could say that he's made the improvements as well, and he has. But finishing second when you should be winning the league, or you know, wherever it isn't, it's not enough, is it? Terry says good defending Southampton. It is, yeah, it's great. Vijendra says just like finishing last. Well, no, finishing last is different, isn't it? When you if you win the league, you've won the league, you've won a trophy, you get the Champions League, and you've won the league. You know, you're the best team. If you come second, third, or fourth, it's exactly the same prize for all 3 of those teams, Champions League. And that's what we're going to be getting. And for me, at the start of the season, we'd have all took that. Of course we would. But in the position that we've been in throughout this whole season, if you lead the league as much as we've done, you know, it's a bottle job. It is a bottle job. There's no other way of putting it. And I don't care what anyone says. And for me, for Arsenal, it's not good enough. We need to be seeing teams off and winning trophies. We just missed another chance there. Gabriel Jesus again. He is not your 30-goal striker that wins your leagues, is he? That's why Pep got rid of him. He's a great player. He brings a lot to the team. But you also need, if you're going to be successful, you need a player who's going to get you 25 goals. And we don't have one, do we? We haven't had one. And he's the only striker that Arteta's bought in 3 years. Regenda says, be like other teams, change the manager every year as we don't win the league. Well, no, you don't change it every year. That's not what we're saying, are we? What we're saying is, this season, in the position that we've been in, 50 points at the halfway stage in the league, more than any other Arsenal team in history before, you've got to go on and win the league from that position. You know, we were 8 points clear not that long ago with, 12 games left. You've got to go on and win the league from that position. You've got to. It doesn't matter whether it's a young team. It doesn't matter anything. You in that position that you're in, if you don't win the league, it's a failure. It is. And if we don't win the league, it will be a failure. From the position that we've been in, it will be a failure. And unfortunately, all failures, when it comes down to it, are down to one person. It's the manager. The manager's to takes the success when you win things, and they have to take the blame when you don't. And that's the way it is. John says, hi John, good to see you, mate. I've not seen you for a while. He says, hi Richard, Terry, back in tune with you and joining you late. I've been missing in action due to illness. Oh, have you, mate? Sorry. Oh, hope you're feeling better. Hope you're feeling better now. Good to see you back anyway. Hope you're feeling a lot better. Nathan says, I agree, you need a killer up front. Yeah, we do. So one thing, it was not the one thing, it's one of the things this team's lacking massively, isn't it? It's a 25-goal striker. That's why Man City were quite happy to offload Jesus when they knew they could get Haaland. Look at the difference. He's got 50 goals. And Gabriel's got 9. Jesus got 9. Yes, he's had a spell out injured. Oh, Southampton player's gone down in the box there, but it was that big substitute, Paul Okochu there, but referee wasn't having none of that. In fact, he's given a free kick to Arsenal. Terry says, we threw 3 cups away to lose the league. Yeah, well, I said that at the time. I said that when everyone was going, oh, no, let's get knocked out of the Europa League. No, let's stay in the Europa League because it's better than nothing. But there you go. What do I know? Colonel says, I agree to an extent, Rich. I get your argument. But if we look at it as a whole, we all knew 2 or 3 injuries would cost us. And it did. Holding is poor. Vieira, isn't it? And no Xhaka or Partey replacement. No, absolutely. I mean, we knew these issues, but Arteta's very specific about the sort of players that he can buy because they've got to fit into his system. And unfortunately, that does leave us. I mean, Jesus is now having an argument with James Ward-Prowse. He's been on one tonight, isn't he, Jesus? Not happy at all. Regina says, like Liverpool, they were a failure. Of course they were. Liverpool did win 2 trophies last season, to be fair. Yes, they could have won all 4, and they lost 2. They lost a final, they lost the league. But they did win 2 trophies as a backup. You know, we should have stayed in the Europa League to try and win something as a backup. That's what I would have done. We've got Johnny there says, I don't want to overreact, but I would honestly like to see Balogun given a chance in the team next season. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's banged in the goals in France, hasn't he? Banged them in. So yeah, why not? He looks a better prospect than Eddie. Let's be honest, he does. Anyway, Saka gets a ball into the box there, but the goalkeeper Basuno's caught that. And we are now into the last 7.5 minutes, and Arsenal have lost this game and lost the league, and that's the end of that. Terry says Haaland is only 22. No one says he's too young. I think he's 23, but even so, you've got a point. He's very young, and he's fantastic. Steve says, why not? Rajendra says, looks like 19 teams. Well, no, because 19 teams weren't 8 points clear at the top of the league, were they? 18 teams didn't get 50 points after a halfway point in the season, did they? Only we did. So not everyone's a failure. You're a failure if you're in a position to win something and throw it away. That makes you a failure. That means you failed in what you wanted to do. That's what it is. You know, you say 19 teams. Have Brighton failed this season? No, because Brighton are challenging for Europe. Little Brighton. You know, are Newcastle, are they a failure this season? No, because they're challenging for the top 4. And that's, you know, they weren't in the position that we're in. If Man City don't win the league now, they would have failed. They would have failed. If they don't win the Champions League this season, they would have failed. That's the way it is, because these are clubs that should be winning trophies, have to win trophies. That's what it's about. That's what it's all about. And that's, you know, 19 teams haven't failed because 19 teams aren't expected to do anything. 19 teams aren't in a position to do anything. And everyone's got their own little battles, haven't they? Everyone's got their own battles to win. And everyone's got their own goals. And our goal has to be to win the league because we were top. And we've been top most of the season. It has to be to win the league. And if we don't do it, we failed. And Martinelli's now gone off. What a performance from Martinelli tonight, actually. There's been a lot of shit going on tonight. Martinelli's been brilliant. And he's gone off now. Reece Nelson's come on with 5.5 minutes to play. Phil says, on this showing, we're going to get battered by City next week. Yeah, of course we are. Well, we knew it anyway, but even more so now. Anyway, that free kick into the box there. Another header away by one of the Giants Southampton players. A ball shot there from Trossard. Comes back out to Saka. Saka puts the ball in to the far post. Gabriel can't get there. And another chance has gone begging. Not that we've had too many real good chances. Magenda says they all started with 0. Yeah, of course they all started with 0, yeah. But that's not really the sign of a failure or not, is it? Do you know what I mean? At the start of the season, everyone starts the same, on the same points, but everyone's got their own different goals and expectations for the season. As the season goes on, your goals and expectations can change as the results change. You know, Southampton wouldn't have expected to be bottom of the league, would they? But now, if they stay up, that's a success, isn't it? Because they've stayed up in the league when they look as though they're heading down. That would be a massive success. And if somebody like, say, one of the teams higher up in the league gets sucked in and gets relegated, then that's a failure, isn't it? Leeds, for example. Colonel says, I said at the beginning of the year we needed a Giroud-type striker, and watching this just proves that no target amount to score against a low block. Yeah, a low block of 6'8" players. So we haven't got anyone in the air that can cause them any problems. Terry says, they need goals, and Arteta takes magic off. Well, yeah, and brings on Reece Nelson. Steve says, Rich, I love Arsenal, but no chance on Earth City will not win. I agree with you, mate. I do agree with you. Terry says, well said, Colonel, indeed. Nathan says, I think it's the wrong mentality to think, oh, well, we would have been happy with top four at the start of the season. You put yourself in a position where you should win. Exactly, Nathan. That's exactly the point, mate. That's what I'm saying. You know, at the start of the season, yeah, top four, brilliant. That's what we wanted after last season's pathetic failure at the end. But yeah, when you're in the position that we put ourselves in, you've then got to say, no, we've got to win the league. There's going to be too many Arsenal fans. I know what Twitter's going to be like. Twitter's going to be full of Arsenal, but, oh, well, we did well. No, we didn't. Tottenham thought they did well the year they came second, right, when they should have won the league. And we were laughing at them. Pathetic bunch of losers, we said. What are we then? Come on. If it's just what we're thinking about them, that's what they're going to think. Everyone's going to think about us. And we've got to think about it. We've got to think of that like that still. We've got to have this winning mentality. We've got to start believing that we should be winning trophies. And if we don't, then what's the point of bothering? We're Arsenal. We're not some shit little team. Do you know what I mean? Everton Rose, Rose, good to see you. He says, you're not helping my team. No, sorry about that. No, we're not really helping your team at all. We've got our own problems. You'll have to sort your own shit out. I'm sorry. Nathan says, how can you view that as not being a failure? Exactly, mate. You're right. It is a failure. Of course it's a failure. If we don't win the league, it's a failure, 100%. And I'm sticking by that. I don't care what all these so-called positive Arsenal fans on Twitter want to come out with. I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered. If they want to be losers, they can be losers all they like. There are, you know, Tottenham are losers. That's what Tottenham said when they didn't win the league. Martin Odegaard's just scored 87th minute, made it 3-2. Like he tends to do, doesn't he, when it doesn't matter. But he's got a goal. Martin Odegaard, a little bit late in the day, probably. But who knows? Bit of stoppage time. A nice little finish, actually, when he headed the box into that far corner with his left foot. Cold round there. Basumo couldn't get across into the corner. Decent finish, but all too late, really. Rose says fair win rubbish. And Odegaard, well, you see, maybe Odegaard's just urgent, wants to help you out a little bit. I'm not sure. Anyway, Terry said 3-2 it is. John says just a gutting day all round. Leah's ACL earlier now this year, exactly. Bad few days, let's be honest, with the women losing the injury and now this absolute travesty of a game. Steve says maybe us fans overrated this team, thinking they go, well, I don't think we're overrating them. We've been top of the league all season. I don't think you can overrate a team that's been top of the league all season. We got 50 points after 19 games. No Arsenal team in history. Look at all those great Arsenal teams that we've had, all those league titles that we've won. No one's ever got that many points in one half of a season before. This was the best start Arsenal's ever had, 19 games in. So I don't think we overestimate. I don't think we overrated the team. The team proved what they could do. But when it's mattered, when the pressure's on, you know, Pep was very interesting what Pep said a couple of weeks ago when he was asked about the pressure at the end of the season. And he said, this is what I live for. I live for these moments at the end of the season. That's when he goes, I don't care about October. I don't care about winning games in October. I care about, March and April and May. That's what I live for. And that's why Man City are going to win trophies and we're not. Because we're accepting, oh, well, you know, it's all right, we can play well. We can play well for 3/4 of a season. That's fine. Let's just applaud ourselves how well we've done. Anyway, Arsenal did have a chance to get an equaliser, which would actually annoy me a little bit if we do get one now, because it's like a draw is no good against Southampton, is it really? I know Rose will probably be quite happy. Reece Nelson with a shot saved, comes out to Saka. We have scored. It is 3-0. Arsenal going to actually turn this around. This would actually be quite astonishing, wouldn't it? Saka's just scored, and Arsenal have got 2 goals in 2 minutes. It's 3-0, and who knows? Well, this has been some game, to be fair. But it will probably be the least celebrated draw in history. But who knows? There's still time to win it. There's still, well, we're into stoppage time now. Are we going to have a Reece Nelson moment in this game? Someone said that before, didn't they? A Reece Nelson moment. Maybe we will. It was Reece Nelson's shot that was saved. Saka was there on the follow-up and tucked it away nicely, actually. It's going to be 8 minutes of stoppage time. Wow, 8 minutes. Rajendra says, we are rubbish. Well, we're only drawing with the bottom team at home, and we've been losing since the first minute. So let's get a little bit of realism here. Steve says, come on, they're hearing us talking. Maybe they are. I don't know. And to be fair, this is a good comeback. And if we can win this game now in the 8 minutes that remain, it would be even better than the Bournemouth comeback, wouldn't it? Let's be honest, it would be. But let's see what happens. We were never. Well, no, obviously we were. We're not particularly good tonight. We haven't been, but suddenly we've got some ideas now. Anyway, Erdegaard now coming forward. His goal started this very, very late comeback. That ball there from Trossard. We've played 1 minute of the 8 of stoppage time, and that ball played through. Oh, cleared away there by Liancho, actually, again at the back. Southampton maybe have sat back a little bit too deep for too long, and it may well cost them what would be at least a point for them, which they wouldn't have expected, to be fair. Thomas Partey now plays the ball to this near side to Reece Nelson. His introduction has made a difference. It was his shot that led to that goal. He came on at 3-1 down. Anyway, it's now Trossard tries a shot from the edge of the box, just over the top there. Leandro Trossard in the 2nd minute of stoppage time. Martin Erdegaard is trying to lift the crowd. Is it all too late, though, for Arsenal? It's Trossard with that effort there. Cut inside and then fired a shot from the edge of the box. Actually hit the top of the crossbar. That's how close that was. It hit the top of the crossbar. It was always going over, to be fair. Mark says there, on loan players back v new bought players. Interesting question. It is an interesting question. Anyway, that was close. There's another injury to Southampton, actually. So there might be a little bit more stoppage time. I'm not quite sure why Southampton want more time on the clock when they've been hanging on as it is. Anyway, as things stand, we are now 5 points clear. With Man City with 2 games in hand, of course, ahead of Wednesday night's game. And who knows what this late comeback might prove to be. The crowd in the Emirates are trying to get behind the team, try to lift us and get us that goal. And to be fair, if we can score in these next 5 minutes of stoppage time and win this game, we can forget the other 95 minutes that's gone before it, which was pretty poor, most of it. But let's get the win first before we worry too much about that. A long kick there from the goalkeeper, Bazumo, deep into the Arsenal half. Is there still time? There's been some late drama at the Emirates this season, hasn't it? There really has been some real late drama. Are we going to get some more late drama here at the Emirates tonight? We said before, a Reece Nelson moment whilst we've given the ball away, and suddenly Southampton maybe fancy their chances to win it in stoppage time. That cross comes in towards the far post. Wasn't a great cross, actually. And we're going to clear this one away with Ben White. And there's a foul there. There's going to be another yellow card for Southampton as we go deep into stoppage time at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Southampton 3. It's been a hell of a game. Another exciting game we've been involved in at this moment in time. And a shot just wide. Just wide. I can't see that shot, actually. My stream's just going a bit funny now. Probably because everybody's decided to tune in to watch the game at the last minute. It was Reece Nelson on the turn there. I think it was deflected, actually. Just wide of that post. In fact, it's been given as a goal kick. I know it is a corner. I was going to say it looked like a corner. It was deflected, certainly. Anyway, Arsenal bringing on another substitution of it. I can't see who it is. Is it Emil Smith-Rowe? Can't see. I think it might be Emil Smith-Rowe coming on for Arsenal. There is still 2.5 minutes of stoppage time to play. You can feel a Reece Nelson moment coming, can't you? You really can. This corner comes in. Oh, a bit lucky deflection there from Southampton. They managed to clear the ball away now. And they've got a counter-attack on here, actually. There was a coming together there. The referee says no, play on. Leandro Trossard. Good defensive work that was there. Was that Reece Nelson? That was brilliant from him. he's been good since he's come on, actually. Gabriel Jesus now. John says probably going 2 at the back. We might as well get the goalie up, get everybody up. We might as well. I mean, the draws aren't really no good to us, is it? Let's be honest. Anyway, Gabriel now coming forward for Arsenal. Plays the ball up this near side. Reece Nelson, what an impact he's made from the bench again. You have to say he's having a decent season, isn't he? He's not played as many minutes as he would like probably, but he's made an impact when he's played. And you have to say fair play to him for that. The cross comes in again by Reece Nelson. Southampton again clear it away. Nelson's in again, trying to win a free kick. Referee says, "Get." The referee's actually let the game flow. He hasn't given all free kicks for everything, has he? You have to say fair play to him, and for both teams as well, not just in our favour or in their favour, really. Arsenal now piling on the pressure. Cross comes in there from Martin Odegaard, finds Jesus on the edge of the area, but again, Southampton are there. Into the last 90 seconds of stoppage time. Are Arsenal going to hold on? Are Southampton going to hold on for this point, or can Arsenal find a win? James Ward-Prowse. In fact, the referee's blown. There's another injury to Southampton. It's another cramp for Southampton. Colonel says technically we control our fate at this score. We need to beat City. Oh, no, we control our fate in the sense that we have to get a result against City. Even a draw probably still keeps it in our hands, doesn't it? Because we'd be 6 points. No, we'd be 5 points clear. Oh, no, I still have 2 games in there. No, so a draw isn't enough, is it, to keep it in our hands? Steve says, with our defence, can't see it. Not at this moment in time. But who knows? Colonel says, I don't either. We live in that. Well, it's hope that kills us, Colonel, isn't it? That's what it is. It's hope that kills us. That's what gets us so frustrated. It is that hope that it might be better in the morning. Anyway, into the last 30 seconds of stoppage time, or what was the 8 minutes. There may well be some more time added on now. The ball's lofted into the Arsenal penalty area by James Ward-Prowse, foot clear by Rob Holding and Thomas Partey. Now Arsenal should get another chance maybe to win it. Leandro Trossard's found Reece Nelson on this near side. He's got an overlap with Gabriel. Gabriel's playing left wing. What are you doing there, mate? Gabriel plays the ball back to Thomas Partey. Is he going to try a shot from distance? He does. It's high over the bar. And we've played the 8 minutes of stoppage time. Steve says a miracle needed from now on. Playing like this, we wouldn't even beat Chelsea. Well, we'll see, because we're playing Chelsea soon, aren't we? So we'll see if we can beat Chelsea. We have now played over the 8 minutes. It's just a matter of time now until that whistle blows. And Arsenal have dropped another 2 points. That's 6 points we've dropped in the last 3 games. And will this one be looked on as a point gain, having been 3-1 down with 3 minutes to play of normal time? No, we're at home to the bottom of the league team. I said before, if you don't beat Southampton at home, you don't deserve to win the league. And that is definitely the case. Anyway, Reece, Eddie Nketiah, that was there, battling away for the ball on his near side. We played nearly 9 minutes of stoppage time. Arsenal, will we get one more chance? We're still in possession with Thomas Partey. Plays it back to Gabriel. Gabriel plays it square to Rob Holding. It opened up a bit in front of him there. Plays it all out to that far side. Can also get the ball in the box. Martin Odegaard, it was his goal that started his comeback. Finds Thomas Partey. Is he going to shoot again? No, he's not. Thankfully, that's Leandro Trossard. Cross it in towards the far post. It's a good ball at the far post. Oh, we're going to win it in the last seconds here. It's in the penalty area. The ball's pinging around the box. The player's gone down. The ball's been cleared away by Southampton. Gabriel Jesus has thrown himself to the floor again. Arsenal still come forward. We've played nearly 10 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this second half. And Southampton now in possession. Arsenal again have won the ball back. And now Southampton have got a chance of a counter-attack. But the only player they had up the pitch has got cramp. And now Thomas Partey's gone down with cramp as well. And there goes the full-time whistle. It has finished. The Arsenal players have gone down on the floor in a heap. Not because they've got cramp, but because we've just dropped another 2 points. And the league title is slipping away. Nathan says there, the way the players are on the floor says a lot. They know that we've blown it, or they've blown it. Colonel says that we're going to beat City. They need to worry about us. We will do it. Don't care. Well, I don't know. Phil says gutted. Yeah. Nathan says really poor result. It is a really, really poor result. Terry wants Arteta out, he wants Edu out, and he wants Zinchenko out. Vijana says, who do you want with Arteta and Edu out? I mean, I don't think let's be honest, we all should be really, really disappointed with that tonight. We've got to be disappointed. That wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough for Arsenal. It wasn't good enough for a team challenging for the title. It just wasn't good enough at all. And that's the way it is. Yes, we don't want to overreact about things. Of course not at this moment in time. But this is 3 games in a row now. It's not just this performance tonight. It's 3 performances in a row. It's not happening for us. We look as though we're running out of legs. We're running out of ideas. We're becoming too easy to score against. And when you want to win the league, you can't do that. You can't do that. I credit Southampton today. They came here with a plan. They worked their socks off, and they got a result. They'll probably be gutted they never won that game because they were 3-1 up with 8 in the 87th minute. Steve says, good night, everyone. Till City massacre. Well, don't forget the women's game on Sunday, mate. You got to come and join us for that. Steve says, YouTube are ready for us. Bottle jobs. Colonel says, I'm gutted like everyone, but Arteta needs to put Zinchenko in midfield. I'm fed up with him making defensive mistakes. Yeah, I agree. We've been saying, well, if you're going to play him in midfield. Don't play him at the back where he's an absolute liability. Mark says, psychologically for us, v City playing too many games, it's not going to make a difference, is it? Momentum sometimes is a big thing. City keep playing games, keep winning games. So, that's momentum for you, isn't it? Southampton look gutted to have drawn that game. They look gutted to have drawn that game. That tells you a lot, doesn't it? They're bottom of the league. Phil says you have to beat bottom of the league team if you're to win the league. Simple, yeah. I said that before the game, mate. If you don't beat Southampton at home, you don't deserve to win the league. Simple as that. You don't. And that's the way it is. Incredible game overall, an incredible scoreline. Arsenal 3, Southampton 3. But, Aaron Ramsdale looks really, really gutted, rightly so. It was his mistake in the very first minute of the game that put Southampton in front. It was Alcaraz who scored. Theo Walcott then put Southampton 2-0 up, and then we'd only play 14 minutes. Martinelli pulled one back before half-time, a great volley. And Arsenal played a little bit of good football at times, but didn't create enough chances. Second half, we knew what was going to happen. Southampton sat back. We had a lot of the ball in front of them. Didn't really create too much. Southampton got a third goal to go 3-1 up from a corner, flicked on at an near post. Zinchenko was gone missing, and it was Coletta Carr headed home to make it 3-1. And then we rallied at the end. We didn't look like we had it in us, but we did rally. Martin Odegaard scored 87th minute to make it 3-2. Then it was Bukayo Saka in the 90th minute, fired home after Reece Nelson's shot was saved and made it 3-3. It did lead to a bit of drama in injury time, but it wasn't enough, was it? And in the end, we've dropped another 2 points, and the title is going away, slipping away. And that's pretty much where we are. Nathan says, enjoy the stream, enjoy your weekend. And you, mate, have a good weekend. Probably see you next week in the office at some point. I think we only got to be in one day next week, haven't we, due to other stuff going on. Phil says they're ready for Marmageddon about elephants falling off trees and us being bottle jobs and choking. Yeah, well, all that's fair enough, isn't it, really? Let's be honest. Terry says, Arteta lost us the game at Man U, dropped points at Liverpool and West Ham, and lost us the cup game at City. Well, the players are partly to blame for that as well. They're the ones who go out on the pitch. But we are 5 points clear, guys. Come on, we're 5 points clear with 6 games to play. We'd have took that, wouldn't we, at the start of the season? But Man City do have 2 games in hand, and they've got a 7-goal better goal difference than us. And we play them away on Wednesday, lose that game, and it really is good night, Vienna, isn't it? Jota says, doesn't really help either of us. I know Saints need the point, but they definitely could have done with 3 where they are. Obviously, we needed 3. And I said, I don't think a draw really helps anyone. Southampton are still bottom of the table, and they've played more games than everybody else around them. So they're in big trouble. Regenda says, I've seen this club from the highs and lows in the 70s, 80s, and then the special years with Wenger. They were exceptional, and the new fans are spoiled and demanding wins all the time. No. It's the history of the club. I remember Arsenal in the 70s, 80s and everything else. And I've also read a lot about Arsenal's history in the 1930s and the 1940s and 50s when we were the biggest and most successful club in the country, in the world, right? I remember all those times. I've read about them. That's where Arsenal are from, and that's why we should always dream big at this club. We should always expect big things. We should always expect the best, and we should expect to be winning trophies, and that's what we should expect as Arsenal fans. It isn't being spoiled. Of course, it isn't. I've seen terrible Arsenal teams, and I've seen great Arsenal teams. But when you're in the position that we've been in, we should win the league. We should win the league. There's no defending that. I'm sorry, there isn't. There's no defending it. There's no defending that performance tonight either. Bottom of the league team. When was the last time they won a game? They haven't won a game for months. They almost beat us. They were 3-1 up against us. Terry says, to be fair, well done, Southampton. No, you're right. Mark says, Saliba back, Nelson more time on the pitch. Yeah, I agree. Nelson's done well. Phil says, can't see City dropping any points, to be fair. Well, I don't think it matters if they do. We're going to drop more. Look at the last 3 games. We've thrown away 2 points against West Ham, who are in a relegation battle. We've thrown away 2 points against Southampton, at the bottom of the league. We threw away 2 points at Liverpool, who are having a terrible season. We're going to lose. We're going to lose more points this season, 100%. Bargav says some of us are starving to see a title. Yeah, these chances don't come around very often, do they? You think about it, right? In my whole lifetime watching Arsenal, 45 years, we've won the league 5 times. 5 times in 45 years. These opportunities don't come around very often, do they? And if we don't take them, we may not get another one. We may not ever be in this position again. And they're like, oh, well, it's fine, we've come second. No, we may not be in this position again. We had to make the most of it, and we haven't been able to do it. And that's a failure. 100% failure. But as Terry is our new trillionaire who's going to buy the team. You don't need to buy the team. We spent loads of money. We've got trillionaire owners. The Cronkies are but some of the richest family in the world, one of the richest families out there. We've got money. We're spending money. Look at how much this squad costs to put together. Bargav says, heartbreak after heartbreak. It's not a fun feeling supporting a club for 10 years and not seeing a title. No, it's not. I mean, I feel sorry for guys that haven't seen us win the title. I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm lucky I've seen us win 5 league titles and numerous FA Cups, 10 FA Cups I think I've seen us win. I've seen us win a European trophy. I've seen us win loads of things, right? And that makes no difference. I feel exactly the same as you, Bargav. I want to see us win a title again because this the ultimate of being a football fan. It's the ultimate thing is to see your team win a title. Emerson says, honestly, Arsenal put me through the emotions. Not good enough. No, it's not good enough. Absolutely not good enough. And I honestly don't care that we've achieved the aim at the start of the season, which was top 4. Right? I think that point seals top 4. Not that it matters now, but I don't care about that. We should be winning the league in the position that we're in, and we've blown it, and we're not good enough. Absolutely not. We're not. When it matters, we're not good enough. And I was saying this the first half of the season when we were winning games, looking comfortable. Doesn't matter then. That's not when the pressure's on. You've got to be able to win games when the pressure's on in March and April and May. And we haven't been able to do it. Magenta says there, but the millionaires who bought Chelsea then come to the unlimited funds by Man City. So that is what it is. Yeah, no, but we are spending enough money. That's an excuse. That's a feeble excuse. We've spent money. We've got money. That's not the reason why we're not in the position that we're in. We've been badly run previously from the very top of the club. We were badly run for a long time. And now we look as though maybe we're slightly better run than we were, which is a positive. But we're still lacking something. And it is a mentality thing, isn't it? I mean, this isn't just an Arteta thing. How many seasons towards the end of Arsene Wenger's reign were we in great positions in March to win a title? Right in there, wasn't we? Top of the league or challenging really strongly. And then we'd fall away. We'd get top 4. And it kind of covered up for the fact that we'd bottled league title after league title. And that mentality is still there. It hasn't changed. Look at last season. We were 4 points clear with 2 games left to get top 4 and we'd finished 5th. I'm sorry, but this is repeating itself, and that isn't to do with the owners. Terry says, don't need new owners, just need a manager who knows what he's doing and someone who gets the players we want, not second best. To be fair on the Cronkies, they spent money. They spent money. Of course they have. They spent lots of money. Our owners' money is all invested and not like oil money. We run differently to Man City. Yeah, of course we are. And Chelsea and Newcastle now. Yeah, we run differently. But we've got money. It's not an excuse. It is not an excuse, really. It's not. We had 50 points at 19 games, as we were with this team, this group of players, this manager. We were 8 points clear at the top of the Premier League a couple of weeks ago. And yes, we are still 5 points clear, but if anybody still believes we're going to win the league, then I think that you need to have a reality check, guys. I never truly believed we had it in us to do it, if I'm honest. We should have done it in a position that we were in, but I never truly believed that we had it in us. And I think tonight and the last couple of weeks has kind of shown that. Josh said, even before the last few weeks, honestly, didn't feel confident. 8 point gap didn't feel that big, knowing our running versus City. Technically, it's not over, but it just seems like, yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly how I feel, yeah. It isn't over technically. No, it's not, but it feels like it is. The way we're playing at the minute, we're conceding too many goals. We're just not looking very smooth. We are, I don't know, we're just not there, are we? Regenda says, no, we don't have money, or else Madrid will not be where they are. No, but we've got money. We've got money. We have. We just run a different way to some other clubs. Terry says, other than Chelsea, Arsenal are top spenders. Just bought rubbish. Well, we haven't always spent the money wisely. No, you're right. Emerson says, I still believe we have to never been this close. Well, no, we haven't. You're right. We haven't been this close before. We finished second in 2016, but that season, if you remember, we never really looked like we were going to win the league, did we? We come on a bit of a late run to sneak second over Tottenham. But yeah, this is our chance to win the league. It's been our chance to win the league. Are we going to get another one? You know, what worries me is, and yes, the money point, Regenda, you're making, that is a fair point to a certain degree. We've got money, but we haven't got the spending power of Man City necessarily. We haven't got the spending power of Newcastle. That's what worries me now. This summer, Newcastle, if they get top four, are going to spend big next season. They're going to be title challengers next season, Newcastle. They're going to be there challenging for the league, right? I can't believe that Chelsea and Liverpool are going to be as terrible again next season. I just can't believe they will be. So that's another two teams going to be up there challenging. Man City that we know they're going to be challenging again, right? So Man United, they're improving in this first season under Ten Hag. So they're going to be there or thereabouts again, aren't they? You know, Tottenham, if they can sort their act out, they're going to be certainly top four challengers again. They're always top four challengers, aren't they? So look how much more difficult next season could be to this season. You know, we've been lucky that Chelsea and Liverpool have just had terrible seasons, unusually terrible seasons, both of them at the same time. You know, and that isn't going to probably happen again next season. And Newcastle are going to be strong. Say other teams are going to be stronger. Man U are going to be stronger next season. This was our chance to win the league. And if we don't do it, which now seems unlikely, then it may not come round again. Yes, we've got a young team, and we will hopefully improve that squad in the summer because we have to. But I still think we may not have a better chance than we've had this season again for a long time. We may not. Looking at the way football's building, other teams are building behind us. It took us 3 years just to get to this point. I don't know. I worry what's going to happen. Regenda says 3 teams have serious money: Chelsea, Man U, Man City, and now Newcastle. Exactly. So there's your top 4, right? And this was our chance. As I said, this was our chance to do it. So we've all got to be gutted and disappointed and upset. We've got to be. We're allowed to be. It's not bad. It's not negative. It's not anything. We're allowed to feel disappointed in this because this was our chance, and we're blowing it in front of our eyes. We're blowing it. Bargo says, we definitely can have one final winning run of games in the last few games. It's still in our hands. It is just sort of in our hands by a thread, isn't it? Man City away is the game on Wednesday. That is the game, isn't it? If we lose on Wednesday, it's over. Quite honestly, it is over if we lose on Wednesday. That'll be 3. That'll be 3 points out of 12. No, not in the running. You can't afford to do that. So Wednesday now is the game, isn't it? Lose on Wednesday and we'll be waving goodbye to the title. Redendra says, but don't forget refs took 3 points from us. No, they haven't. Nobody's took anything from us. We have done it ourselves. We've thrown points away ourselves. Nobody's taken it from us. Refs haven't done anything. Refs have made bad decisions in lots of games, not just involving us, involving all the teams in the Premier League because the refs are terrible. We're not making those excuses. No, we're not. We're better than that. We're above that. We're not making excuses. The referee's done this or that. No, we on the pitch, our players are the players. We've had opportunities in games to have won games and we haven't won them. That's our fault. The Brentford game, we should have won that game. We didn't, regardless of that decision. We should have won that game. It was our fault. We dropped those 2 points. The Man United game away from home, we did that. We put in a bad performance, lost that game. We did that, us. No one else is responsible. We are, us, and that's it. James Ward-Prowse is now speaking, so let's have a listen to him.
You can definitely feel there's a positive feeling here, and I think that fueled us, especially in the first half. We took our chances really well, kept them at bay, and we knew they'd come on to us in the second half. And it's a good point to come here and get that, but I think we're disappointed not to take all three, really.
And put in perspective, beforehand, you probably thought a point's a really good result, but leading so deep in the game, you feel deflated.
Yeah, I think it's a massive blow, but we have to take a lot of positives from that. I was a bit surprised to see 8 minutes come on the clock. I'm not going to lie. I think that was a bit of a strange amount of time to be added on, but we have to defend better there and not concede last minute.
Was your lead reward for bravery, taking the game to them?
Yeah, I think that's us. I think we lost our identity a little bit, and Ruben's definitely got that back on track with the high aggressive pressing, and we felt we were very strong in the first half and took our chance as well. And I think we tired towards the end. You're playing up against a world-class side, and they ultimately showed that.
When you were in the lead at half-time, what were your thoughts when the coach changed the formation as well?
Yeah, I think people will see that as a negative, but I think it was more of a positive. I think to keep them at bay, but also to be a little bit more solid at the back. It wasn't a case of dropping off and being deep. It was still being aggressive, still being front-footed, and it worked up until the last 10 minutes of it.
It's difficult straight after the game, as you say, you're deflated, disappointed because where you were in the game. But could this turn out to be not only a massive point, but also psychologically to come here, get a point from the league leaders, be huge for you in this running?
It will be, yeah, but I think we need to follow up with good performances and results. We always get some good positive results against the so-called big teams, but then we don't follow up in the coming games. So that's a real big challenge for us now.
Still believe you can get out?
Yeah, of course. There's still a lot of points to play for, a lot of football there, and stranger things have happened. We've got to keep believing and keep pushing on.
Thanks, James.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
See, they've only got a point. Do you know what I mean? And they're bottom of the league. There you go. Anyway, Virginia says, I believe that English refs are also subject to bribery, not just Italian ones. Maybe, potentially. They're just terrible, I think, personally. But anyway, Virginia says, especially as they don't explain themselves properly. Well, no, they never have done, though, have they? Even before all this VAR nonsense came in. But I'm not looking for excuses. I'm not looking for blaming anybody or anything. We take responsibility for what happens to us ourselves. And that's not just in Arsenal, in football, that's in life. We've got to take responsibility for ourselves, and this team need to take responsibility for it. We've thrown away points this season. We've thrown away what was a fantastic advantage that we had in the league, and now it's being whittled away, and that's down to us. It's not down to anybody else. No, it's not. And I'm not accepting that. Terry says, spot on, Richard. VAR, the refs have been terrible, but we lost the games. No one else. Too many bad decisions, subs and team picking. Just lots of things, yeah. But we control what happens to us. We can't control the outside things anyway. None of us can. So basically, hang on, Jesus. Let's listen to Jesus.
Got a point out of it, but because of the bigger picture, is the overall feeling one of being deflated, being unhappy?
Well, I think, like you guys can see, a lot of things is going on now. Obviously, we don't want to come here and talk negative, because we are very positive. The season we are doing is amazing. Obviously, it's a Premier League. It's not easy. It's tough. You compete against tough teams like Southampton. They come, try to defend good, and then counter attack and kill us. Unlucky we concede early goal. That's kill our plan. But I think a part of this we play really good. We respond really good with the crowd. Everyone come with us. I think it's we are doing now is the difficult moment. We are putting ourselves in some difficult momentos in the game, but it's now time to stick together to the end. We still have a lot of things to do in the season, and then it's not an over. It's still 5 point clear, and obviously they have 2 games in hand. And then if we want to be champions, we have to go there and win the game. That's all.
What is the cause of these difficult moments that you are giving to yourself? The mistakes in the first half. Is it the pressure of the situation you're in?
I don't think it's depression or something like that, like people wants to talk. Obviously, we are, I think, the youngest team in the league. Not putting excuses, but is a big thing to think about. Obviously, we have no experience of champions. And then, obviously, sometimes if we want to try, if we want to play good like we was playing from the start of the season, we have to try. And sometimes we do right, sometimes we do wrong. We make a mistake. Everyone here can make a mistakes. That's why it's so important to stick together. And then now it's time to recovery. Recovery. And rest our minds, our body, and then keep fighting.
How difficult is it going to be for you now? That's 3 points from a possible 9, the last 3 games. To go to the Etihad, realistically, you've got to win. It's in your hands. If you win, and you win your remaining games, you'll be champions. But how do you get back to what you were early in the season? Young, brave, playing, flowing football. How do you get back to that before next Wednesday?
Like I said, we are having a great season. It's nothing over. It's like I said, it's a lot of things can happen from now on till end of the season, last game. Everything can happen. Obviously, we are not happy with the last 3 games.
Anyway, on a good note, on a positive, it'll probably mean that now I'll be able to get a ticket for the Wolves game because we're down in London that weekend, and I'll probably be able to get a ticket now because people won't want to go all day once the league's been out of the way. Terry says out of 101 minutes we played well for about, so it was more than 101 minutes, wasn't it? Because there was 51 minutes in the first half, and it was it was about 101 minutes. Yeah, you're right, because it was 51 minutes and then 50, wasn't it, or 50 and 51. Yeah, well, I'd say maybe 10 minutes, maybe we'll give them that. Regina says, well, if the post office put postmaster in prison because of their own failure, which leads to serious deaths to them due to worry, the postmaster are responsible for that. Well, everyone's got to take their own responsibility, haven't they? That's what I'm saying. Everybody's got to, everyone can look for excuses. You can look for excuses every single day of your life. You can say, well, this didn't happen for me because this, or this didn't happen because they did this to me. No. We've got to be able to take responsibility for what happens to us ourselves. We've got to take our own responsibility. Yes, some things are out of our hands. I've said that. Some things are out of our hands, but 90% of what goes on in our life we control, and we've got to take responsibility for those things that we control, and then everything else will generally fall into place. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. But don't make excuses. Don't look for excuses. Constantly looking to blame. This blame culture we seem to have everywhere in life nowadays, don't we? I don't buy that. I've never bought that. I will always take responsibility, my own responsibility for everything that happens around me and to me, because if I can control it, I can take responsibility for it. If I can't control it, that's different, and everyone's got to know that. So, but most things we can control that go on in our life, we control, and we've got to take that responsibility and not look for excuses. Terry says, good average to put a positive spin on it all. I'll get tickets for the Wolves game. Well, yeah, probably will now. So happy days, because we don't want to have a wasted trip down to London. We're struggling to get tickets for the Arsenal women's game, but now Arsenal women probably can't win the league. We'll probably get tickets for that game, and then we might get tickets for the Wolves game. It's that weekend. It was looking like it was going to be kind of a mixed weekend, because potentially winning 2 titles and not being able to go to either game and have to stand outside cheering on like an idiot without being in the game. Now I might be end up going to both games, so it's got swinging around about, isn't it? John says thing about the league is I can see, in spite of others' views, City dropping points. Now though, I just can't see us being perfect like we pretty much have to be. No, I think City may well drop points, and I don't think it's going to matter, because we are going to drop points as well. Look at some of them games we've got left. Tougher games than we've had tonight against Southampton, let's be honest. Virginia says that the postmaster has no control over that. They were blamed and imprisoned by the post. Yes, and I say there are very, very few things in our life that we can't control, but we can control most things, and we need to stop making excuses for the things that we can control. That's what I'm saying. And in sport, you're in control, aren't you? If you're a player, you're in control of that game. You can control the result. If you're, if whatever sport you play, I mean, I play a bit of sport now. I've played sport throughout my life, and every time I've lost, I don't blame anybody else. If it's been a single sport, I used to play a lot of tennis. I used to do a lot of running, and if I lost a race or if I lost a game of tennis, that's my fault. I could have won that game. I could have played better. I could have not made as many mistakes, and that's the way you've got to look at it. And then when it comes to football, we have lost games. We've lost points because of us. Nobody else. Us. We've done that. We could have won more points this season by just playing better in certain moments of certain games, doing certain things better, and that's what we've got to look at. And if everybody takes that responsibility in your life, in these situations, I could improve. I could do this better or that better. Then that's going to be a positive step forward, and then you'll find better things happen to you, rather than just saying, "Well, actually, it's not my fault. It's not my fault." There's too much of that goes on in the world these days, and it's not helpful. It's not helpful to the individual people that are doing it. It's not helpful to anybody else either. It's just not helpful at all. So everyone just needs to take their own responsibility for what they can control. Just don't look on things as defeats, look on things as lessons and learn and move forward. And if you don't do that, then you failed. And that's the way it is. And if Arsenal don't win the league this year, we failed. And that's it. Josh says here, well, cheers for the stream. It's already and yourself, mate. Thanks for watching again. We'll see you soon. Terry says, your own destiny is in your own hands, end of. You're right, yeah. Virginia says, well, if it's a fair game, I'm okay with that. I've had the same situation, but sometimes you do lose and learn. Exactly, yeah. Losing, you've got to learn from it. And if you don't, 3 games in a row now, we haven't learned from the previous game. We've not learned the lessons, have we? And that's where it's wrong. That's where it is a failure. If you lose and you learn, even if you lose again, but you've learned from what you lost out on, then you still won overall, haven't you? But if you don't learn and you don't improve, and you don't take those things on board, then you've lost. Even if you win, you've lost because you haven't taken those lessons on board from losing, if you see what I mean. But anyway, that's a little bit philosophical for us Friday night, isn't it? We've just seen Arsenal potentially throw away the league title. But anyway, Terry says, never had you down as a shoplifter issue with all that running. Yeah, well, you have to run fast when you need to get away from people. Brian says, if Arsenal are still learning, it may take a few more games to learn. Well, it might do, but you don't, in sport and in football, you don't get many chances, do you? Unfortunately, you have to learn quickly in sport. Otherwise, those opportunities go and they may not come back. So, yeah, you have to learn quick. And we don't seem to be learning quickly enough. We'll see what happens in the future going forward. But we don't seem to have learned that much from the end of last season. And we don't seem to have learned that, do we? Because we're not showing that we've learned it now. But anyway, let's see. We'll win on Wednesday, and then none of that will matter, will it? It's in our hands still, as we said. Let's take responsibility. Let's go to Man City Wednesday and win. That's taking responsibility, isn't it? That's learning from your mistakes. That's putting all that getting that positivity from all the bad stuff that you've done, all the mistakes that you've made. It's learning from that. Zinchenko is going to defend properly on Wednesday. We're going to score loads of goals. We're going to take the game to Man City. We're not going to defend ridiculously crap from corners, and that's the lesson there, and then that's what we'll do. Anyway, I've had enough of this now. I've had enough of this night. I've had enough of football. I've had enough of this title race, if I'm honest. But Wednesday night, we'll be refreshed by then. But don't forget, before Wednesday night, there is actually a really, 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 really important game. It is the Champions League semi-final. Arsenal women are in the Champions League. So can you believe that? With all the injuries that we've got and all the injuries that we've had, we are in the semi-final of Champions League. That game, the first leg away in Wolfsburg, is on Sunday. Kick-off is at 2:30, so I'll be going live at 2:15. So definitely join me for that, because it is going to be something quite exceptional. So join me for that on Wednesday. Tomorrow I'm going to put some stuff together for the Arsenal Women's Weekly Show, a few videos from the guys. That'll be on tomorrow evening about 7:30 on the channel. So join us for that. So Sunday's a big one. And then next week, of course, Wednesday night, wow, what a game that's going to be. Definitely don't want to miss that there. So join us for that as well. And that'll be good. Regina says, hopefully we win 1-0 in Germany. Yeah, to be honest, yeah, I want us to just defend well, give ourselves a chance in that second leg at the Emirates. Just give us a chance, even if we got a narrow defeat like we did in Munich, 1-0 defeat wouldn't be the end of the world. Coming back to the Emirates, who knows? So, but yeah, let's just give ourselves a chance. Let's not get a big hammering away at Wolfsburg. Let's try and keep it tight, take something from the game, and it'll all be to play for next Monday at the Emirates when we're there, which is going to be good. Terry says, great show again, Richard, mate. See you Sunday. Come on, you go to goals indeed. Terry says, if anything, it seems to be doing the same as last season's running games. Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. We haven't seemed to have put that lessons into good use, but we'll see. Videndra says there, I'm on the 1st of May. So yeah, I am as well, mate. We'll have to meet up. We'll have to meet up outside the Emirates. I know we were going to last time and we didn't manage to, did we? So we'll definitely sort that out. We'll meet up at the Emirates. How many tickets sold? I think at the moment about 40-odd thousand has been sold already. Over 40,000 has been sold. I think it'll be 50,000. I honestly do. I really do. It's going to be an incredible night. And let's hope that Arsenal can do it. Wouldn't that would just be amazing. And to be honest, even if we don't win the final, because we're going to probably play in Barcelona. We know how good they are. Just getting to that final would be amazing. So it'd be great, wouldn't it? So yeah, it's going to be a great night. We'll have to meet up there definitely with all the other guys as well. Terry says, no, oh yeah, good night, Terry. Take it easy, mate. Thanks for watching. Thanks everyone for watching. If you are still in, well, I know the numbers have gone down now. Most people have gone to bed, and I don't blame you. Give us a like before you go. If you are new, please subscribe. I'm back tomorrow with the Arsenal Women's Weekly. It'll be a different sort of show. 7:30 tomorrow night. Join me for that, and then of course Sunday afternoon, 2:15, Champions League semi-final. Is going to be good. But tonight, very, very disappointing at the Emirates. It finished Arsenal 3, Southampton 3. For once, we wasn't 2-0 up. We were 2-0 down. And we came back and got a draw in rather dramatic circumstances. 2 late goals from 3-1 down, but draw's not really enough. So it's not looking good, is it? But Wednesday night is a new night, and let's see what we can do there. Regina says, I'm at club level, last ticket there. Well, yeah, Andreas is in club level as well. We were tempted to go club level, I've got to be honest. We were tempted to go, but in the end thought, no, want to be with the fans. We're with the supporters club in Block 2. It's going to be lively. It's going to be good. So there you go. Regina says, only the top seats available. Yeah, I know it's selling out. It's going to be great. It is going to be a great night. Looking forward to that. A week on Monday, that as well. That is going to be so good. Anyway, yeah, tonight wasn't so good, was it? Very disappointing, but we're still in there. We're still 5 points clear. It's still just about in our hands. We'll know more on Wednesday night, won't we? But lots to come before then, as we say, tomorrow, and then of course Sunday for the big one, and then we can take a breather before Wednesday, because it's going to be, we're going to need it, aren't we? The nerves are shattered, they're shredded already, and yeah, we need to give everything on Wednesday, don't we? That's all we can do now, and let's see how it goes. But yeah, I'm not feeling too confident at this moment in time. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We will see you very soon. Thanks for watching, and come on, you guys, please. Real Martinelli. It's now with Granit Xhaka. Is it going to be the third goal? It is the third goal. Granit Xhaka with it. That seems